Hello, everybody. So it's Monday, it's just before the end of the year, December 29th. Can't believe it. And the goal for today is to fix up one of the scenes in the outro. I think this is doable in the morning, and then I don't know what's happening the rest of the day. Hey, Kevin. How's it going, Kevin? You for once don't have meetings. How does that feel? So after that, he's not totally sure what he's going to work on. All right. Yeah, so let's start with tenants. Hey, Murray. Welcome in. Good morning. There we go. All right, so let's copy these things. Successes. I probably should be talking about those more. All right, sustainability. I want to pull up the journal as I look at this. Only did 3 days last week. So yeah, I don't think this was a problem. What, outro, translation. Yeah. Last week was just 3 days on stream. I did do work on the remaining 2 days. And it went well enough. Yeah. Bricklaying. I look at the journal and see the outro and translations. They're definitely up there on the roadmap. And I'm going to continue with the outro today to finish it off. Enjoying the holidays? How's it going over there? Saw you messaged me, but didn't open Discord yet. Yeah, it wasn't anything super important. It was about a restaurant. Things are going well. I keep vacillating between, is March too far away or is it too close? And I don't know what it means to feel both of those things simultaneously. So December was overall a very productive month, and I'm hoping that January can be the same, and that realistically what happens is that this list goes from being 27 pages down to being practically nothing. Kind of the same thing with GitHub. I hope we cut through most of the important issues. We've also been working on translation stuff. Well, I say we, but it's really not too much of me and mostly Hideo. So French is basically done. I need to respond to Hideo on something. Italian has started. I'm going to call someone today about Brazilian Portuguese, and I've got a couple people who are on board for German. Kevin is very likely going to be the person doing all the Spanish. So that leaves Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. I actually don't have a plan for any of those right now. And yeah, I'm not sure what to do. So I should probably write this like somewhere on the list over here. Need to figure out what we're doing with CJK. Translations. Should I shell out money? Should I ask for volunteers more widely? Should I just not launch in those languages? Hey, just have. Hey, Dale. I'm doing well indeed. Yeah, yeah, I really appreciate what you've done, Hideo. And I was talking to Irad, who's going to be doing the Italian translations, and I said, look, I think we've added a lot of explanations and screenshots. Obviously, don't hesitate to ask me for more, but probably we're at the point where if there's any string on Weblate, if there's any string on Weblate, so like let's say we go to Italian and we click translate, it should at least be apparent how you could translate this. So like stun, we look at it, it's in basic stun attack. Actually, this never shows in the game. I just realized. Whoops. Well, anyway, whatever. Yeah, you go to something that's like change your party member's location. Oh yeah, there's a screenshot. So at least that has pretty much been handled. And I don't think there's going to be too much more that's confusing about it. And even if there is, it's very easy to fix. I had a screenshot, I had an explanation. So yeah, we've come a long way on that front. And I learned a lot about localization, and I want to start doing some content creation in January too. But we're still in December, and I should probably focus on December. So let's do this. So we are going to, top priority is finish the outro so that we can get back to play testing. And for this, we have one major task. What branch am I on? Update localizations. I guess I can sync changes over here. So I should probably check this in. Update translation submodule. This should work. Yeah, it did. Now publish this. I don't know what was even on this branch. I have completely wiped my memory of last week. So let's go find out. Create PR. I mean, I'm creating this no matter what. Add previous, missing UID file. Yeah. Okay, so this is from Hideo. He gave me feedback and I changed a bunch of things. Well, this wasn't from Hideo, but yeah, the rest of this probably was. What's fixed translation issues? Yeah, I see. Yeah, so just string changes we needed to do. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty good. Let's merge this. Switch back to whatever branch I was on. I don't know what branch that might have been, or maybe we merged everything. Let's take a look at merge pull request. That seems like something's missing. Hey, Ingvar, how you doing? Oh man, I really should have cleaned up the branches over here so I could actually tell what we needed to do. Well, let's start deleting stuff now at least. Stale. Oh, I guess all the stale branches could probably just be deleted, right? Yeah. Delete branch. Also, I don't even think this is permanent. I think there's a restore right here. So I think I can just willy-nilly delete these things. Plus, last updated last year. I mean, this is pretty apparent. We're not going to need any of those, huh? Okay. And Hideo told me about a setting that I can change in GitHub, which I have, but this doesn't affect all the ones in the past. So now anything that I do merge should get deleted in the remote. Hey, Lemmy, thank you for responding to my stupid message to you. I didn't realize you were already in Discord. I plan on following up in the next day or two about that. You're one of, I think, 4 people who volunteered for German, which is going to be a new first, which is how do we do this in parallel? So let's say 4 people are working at random times. The odds of them getting the same string would probably be pretty high if they're just clicking the translate button, because I think it gives you the same string for each person. But the amount of time it takes you to translate a string might make it so that, I don't know. Anyway, we'll have to figure this out. Maybe we split it up and say, okay, one person does abilities and another person does items or something. Or maybe just we split it by time and you say okay, I'm going to work on it for the next hour. And yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. So I'll reach out to people. What branches do we have that were modified recently? Task backlog. Did that get merged? It did. Pull request 1226. Yeah. Localized fonts. I don't think I have anything outstanding here. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay. Well, let's make a new branch then. And to keep branches in a manageable way. Yeah. No meeting but family calls. Have a good day. All right, take care, Kevin. All right, so we're back on this branch. I want to go to get checkout -b. We're going to do finish outro. All right, so let's start by talking about the problem here. Let's close all these tabs. Scene was never saved. Yeah, I don't care about that. Yeah, I was testing something with non-breaking spaces because Hideo and I were talking about this. I don't know what Godot even has on this front. So in a language like French, and probably other languages do this too, but at least in French, instead of saying 5%, you type 5 and then a million spaces and then the percent sign over here, because this is how French people are used to reading stuff. The problem is that in all of these massive amount of spaces that you have here, you could have a line wrap. So let's say your label can only fit this much text in it. Then you'd see 5 and a bunch of spaces and then a percent sign over here. Now, in case people don't know from this, it's facetious that it's this many spaces, but there is actually just one space in between the percent sign and the number. And that is a chance for this to wrap. And I don't know what Godot does about this. So I think you add in a non-breaking space in the source string, and then it just doesn't, it'll treat that as part of a word. So yeah, maybe that's the only thing we can do. But does C# add that in? Actually, maybe C# does. I never thought about that. C# percent formatter non-breaking space. They might put that in automatically. Probably small. Yeah, I agree with that. You checked your guess was correct. I don't remember your guess. Oh, hey, they do have a non-breaking space. Oh, so then this shouldn't be a problem, I think. I wonder how you check this. C# playground. I mean, it should be, well, no, it might not be simple. You need to like change the locale. C# format string for another locale. I'm curious about this. Here we go, culture info. All right, so I just do this and print out. All right, so value is going to be percent. Float percent equals 0.5. We do P0 and new culture info. We need to go figure out where that comes from. Does it tell us? Man, it's one of the things I wish this thing would do. Anyway, fr-fr. Does it tell you when you click run? Well, it doesn't tell you if you're missing the right number of parentheses. Culture info cannot be. Where does this come from? Why can't you tell me? C# culture info. System.globalization. System.system. Oh man, my this key is broken. Hang on one sec. Let me fix this. This key. That's not the key. I pried out the wrong one. Hey Maya. You need to manually edit the culture for it to be right, which is definitely not worth and error prone. Windows uses something else. Oh, Linux and Mac use ICU, so it's wrong by default. Okay, hold on a second. All right, so run this 50%. So now how do we figure out? String S equals this. And now C# get Unicode value of character, yeah. Convert.tochar. Get decimal digit value. How often do you use data science libraries? Never. I just don't really have a need for them. Print properties of a character. Interesting. Okay, let's do that. So string C equals S1. Can I do that? Can I implicitly convert character to string? All right, I'm not going to bother testing this anymore because this is not worth it. And we'll need to just see what happens in Godot anyway. Yeah, so anyway, getting to the end scene, what I was talking about here is we have a portion of the ending that has a bunch of text show up, and that text is not going to work on all different screen zoom levels. Just curious, what's your expertise then? What do you mean? Like, I did a CS degree, if that's what you're talking about. There was no like specialization within this. I just did an undergrad degree. But yeah, I don't think many games that are single player are going to need like a lot of data science behind them. Slay the Spire probably does. But other games, a lot of it's going to be like, yeah, you just, get by with feel. You get some metrics. You probably just parse them yourself. Hey, Bokanon. Yeah, it was pretty good. How was your Christmas? Oh, this is finished. This is what we're doing today. Anything else? Yeah, just some notes. C# breaking space master. Colon calcium. Oh man. Should I even run the outro here? I guess we could. It doesn't really matter though. I think what I want to do is I want to take the piece of the outro and put it into its own new scene. Yeah. So would I be able to save this whole thing? I guess so. Let's try it out. Save as testosterone. That's why they're teaching us. SciPy, NumPy. Yeah, yeah. There was probably an opportunity to learn those things. I think data science could have been an elective, but I don't think I did something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think a specialization, at least more would have been for a master's degree. So there's an undergrad, and then there's graduate, and then there's postgraduate. I only did the undergrad. Had I done a graduate degree, if there was a game dev option, I probably would have steered toward that. I mean, I didn't want to do more schooling at that point. So I just didn't do it. But yeah, if there were the option, I probably would have gone for something like game dev or something related to game dev. So it's this that I want here. So we just need to skip right to that section. So we don't need all this deal poison stuff. And actually, you know what? We don't even need, what am I doing? We don't need any of this. We can just copy the screen cover, canvas layer, thoughts container, all that stuff into its own scene. So just delete everything else, right? Smart. There we go. Okay. And we have a skip button here. I don't actually care about the skip button either. Letterbox top and bottom, those don't matter probably. Yeah, we got those looking fine, I think. Well, I probably should test that too. Let me write that down. Test the letterboxing to make sure it's not covering up a different amount of the screen. I feel like most of your specialization comes from work experience. University didn't really prepare me for real world programming at all. I think having a background in something can still inform what work experience you get. So for example, let's say you do, I don't know, 8 years of like AI specific learning. You're probably going to go into AI after that. And those 8 years probably would help. But yeah, if you put a year or two extra into something, it might not have a big impact. I think there's still some impact though. So all of these have the wrong modulate. Let's go fix this. Done. Now I think we can just run this scene. Oh, except for it's got the wrong script. Detach that. It's going to need a script. All right, let's make a testosterone script. Attach. Let's call this delete me. No, let's just call it testosterone. I'll just write a note to myself. Delete the testosterone stuff and merge the branch. What do I even call this? Finish outro. And then switch to main. Hey, Shiki. Are we doing Godot now? You were just here like a month ago. We were doing Godot then too. Yeah. I had no idea what I signed myself up for with this AI stuff. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's another point. If you don't know what you're getting yourself into and then you don't like it and it's too late to switch, then yeah, maybe you won't end up using it. But hopefully, hopefully if you realize after like 6 months you don't like it, you could still have some time to switch. All right, I want to take this from the antidote scene. We have a window size change. We don't? I don't do this? Oh, I think I did it in the outro. Yeah, I did it here. All right, so truth be told, I don't know what I'm doing right now. We're going to find out pretty soon. So there need to be a camera in here. The camera's, no, this is not actually important for us. We got to figure out what to do about text. Game space, game scenes, game outro. I like that emote. It's very, very cool. All right. So I think we just run this. I wonder, well, do I have a shortcut for this? Command R or something? I think I probably do. Yeah, so I anchored some of these, but this looks pretty bad. Is this Command R? Yeah, it is. All right, so what I think we need to do is use a viewport or a sub viewport. Please don't segment your messages, Maya. I have just one unusual rule in chat, and I try to warn people about it. So how else would we do this? I don't know. But it actually makes me wonder, what's the point of a canvas layer? I'm gonna look up some of this stuff. Godot canvas layer. I mean I've used these a bunch in the past. Just want to see, could this be used for what I want? Indirect children of canvas layer will be drawn in that layer. Layers in numeric index defines the draw order. Default 2D scene renders with index 0. They can optionally follow the viewport, makes them useful for HUDs. Drawn on one specific viewport and cannot be shared between multiple. When using multiple, you need to create them for each viewport you want them to be drawn on. Okay. If enabled, maintains its position in world space. If disabled, it stays in a fixed position. I'm not actually sure what I want for this, and I'm not sure if it makes a difference in this case. I wonder what happens if I toggle it on or off. So let's see, follow viewport. I don't even, like, it's not even set to follow the viewport. Oh, enabled on. There we go. And we can change the scale. Whoa. Whoa. Hey, so very sour. What is this doing? Wow, interesting. Okay. Maybe that's all we need to do. Just scale this based on the viewport. Hey, Chef Alton, thanks for the resub. Happy 37 months. This is interesting. Can I scale this infinitely and just have it still be crisp? I can't tell if that's crisp. It doesn't look like it. Right, it looks jagged. But I think that might just be because of the outline. Wonder how we test this. I've been worked to the bone. Yeah, so here. So what if we change the outline to not exist? I didn't do anything. Right? Did that not do anything? Is there an outline on this still? No, the outline's gone. Wow, it just looks like it's outlined. That must be the aliasing. Hey, Alex. It is a new shirt. Hey, yeah, it wasn't really a mini break. Well, it was a mini break from streaming, but I was still working during that time. We are moving along with some stuff now. I really, really want to get this thing done today, though, because with the outro in the game, it means I can just give the game to other people and have them try it out, as opposed to like, oh, hey, ignore when the text looks weird in the final cutscene. I guess I could still say that. All right, so what if I set this to whatever the scale was, like 16? No, that looks bad. I think this is scaling. Well, I don't know what else we could do about this, but I think we need to scale it up somehow, and I don't know what should do the scaling. I wonder if this is just good enough. Thing is, I also need this to work for... No, I don't think this would work. We'd have to like anchor it to the center. But isn't this the whole point of what a viewport would be doing anyway? What is this stuff? Interesting. We can just change the transform of this. I'm still not certain what I need to do for this. Let's try adding in a sub viewport and putting the canvas layer in. I don't think this makes sense. I think what I'm doing is nonsense. Maybe we put this stuff into the sub viewport and then the sub viewport into a canvas layer. I don't think that makes sense either. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do, what I want to do here. how to do what I want to do. I don't see any text even showing up. What if we say 1920 by 1080? Nothing's rendering this sub viewport right now. Hey, Kivix. There's a town viewport that's a sub viewport, and it has a, oh, right, a sub viewport container. I forgot about that. Hope you had a great Christmas. How am I? I'm doing pretty well. I'm feeling good. I'm really, really hoping I don't burn out or anything. We got about 3 months before launch. I mean, not even really anymore. It's like 2.5. Yeah. This is what I want. So we do that and then that and then that. Okay, so now we have all this rendering correctly. So if I just change the size of this, shouldn't we be fine? No. 2.5 months now? Wow, yeah, I know. It's not a lot of time. What genre game am I making? Hey, no, I'm making a casual, like, town management / RPG / simulation kind of game. But yeah, the Steam page has more info on it. Can we stretch this? What is this? I think the problem is we'll be rendering, well, I guess we need to pick a decent size to begin with. Maybe we just change the viewport container. Stretch on. Aha. No, this is still not what I want. What does this do? Provide sub viewport's effective resolution by this value while preserving its scale. This can be used to speed up rendering. I don't think I want that on. How did it go? I think the last stream I saw you were working on fonts and italics and bits. Is that what you're doing now? So I try to keep the today command up to date. What I'm working on now is the outro, a specific scene in it's got a bunch of text that needs to render well at different window sizes. And I'm not totally sure how we're supposed to do this. And I'm kind of just messing around to figure out if something stands out to me. Is there some list somewhere of all the assets used that were free or non-bespoke made by an artist? There were very few free ones that were used, and I don't have a public list for that. I have a private list for that, but I can show it on stream. So here are the, this one's not free. This and these. So I think there were 5 assets that were free. Then there were some that were technically free, like Windy Beard made the arrow graphic, but that was bespoke. Well, I mean, it was an arrow. You could probably use any arrow you want. And then these were also made by Kevin, but they're a minus and a plus sign, so they're not, it's not like you'd have a hard time making those for your game too. Damn. Hey, TJ, thank you. I hope yours were good too. But yeah, localization's been going well. It's not finished yet. And we've learned some lessons for next time. Yeah, I'll probably do a video on that at some point. I really need to devote some time to making videos. I think I'm going to need to cut out some stream time at some point in January. Otherwise, this will never happen. So basically what I'm trying to get here is when you shrink this, it makes the text smaller and always has it on the screen at the same time. And I don't know how you accomplish that. And I don't think I'm doing a good job of this right now. Like if this always is set to take up as much space as it can, will it always match this? It should. Yeah, it does. So then the thoughts container takes up the full space too. Yeah, so I can anchor these things, but I need them to shrink as well. That should be the viewports thing. Viewport with height units like CSS? I think through sub viewports it does. I don't really fully remember how this works. Override stretch. I guess that's what I should probably look up. TODO sub viewport stretch. We did this already though. You achieve by setting size 2D override and then setting stretch to true. Size of the target size and resulting texture. Yeah, this sounds like what I want. I just thought I clicked all these things already. Size 2D override. And then set it to, I don't know, let's set it to 600 by 400 or something like that. Okay, that's maybe more what I want. Yes, that's what I want. Okay, I see. Okay, so then I can set this to 1920 by 1080. And then if this is the same size, what is going on? Yeah, this is the same size. It's going to look the way I expected it to look. Then as I shrink it, it'll just get smaller than that. Yeah, that's it, I think. Well, Dark mentioned a while ago, we probably need to accommodate square screens, or square window sizes, I guess. So as long as this doesn't go beyond the size of the window, I think we're okay. Hey, Mohammed Kumar. Now that you get too much tension when you change your layout, keyboard layout. That tension that you feel, if it's from changing your layout, that's temporary. It should be temporary. I think whenever you change up how you've been doing something for like a week or two, you're going to feel a difference. And it might even feel like it's pain or soreness, but that is not lasting pain or soreness in my experience and what I've heard from chat. Hey, Samp, what am I working on? I'm working on a game called Scala Cellar. Specifically right now, I'm working on trying to get some text to look the same regardless of your screen size. And I think we got it, although I think this also looks like incredibly pixelated right now. How does it look in here? Yeah, terrible. What if we turn this off? Then it doesn't work. Yeah. So this stretch has to be on. Okay, stretch has to be on there, and then size 2D override has to be on. I think if I don't have this on, what happens? Then yeah, it doesn't stretch. Okay. So let's write that down. General approach, sub viewport container, stretches on, and then a sub viewport with size 2D override on. Yeah, Tenchu. Nearly given up supporting Linux for my Godot project because its KDE Wayland support is unreliable and impossible to enforce. You might be able to just like lock it to full screen or something. I don't know if that helps you at all, but you could maybe make a simplifying assumption so that you don't have to worry so much. How to have smooth font scaling while using stretch mode viewport and stretch aspect ignore. Is that the thing that I have set? Stretch aspect ignore? Because I actually don't want it to ignore the aspect ratio. But I don't know where you choose that. Scaling 3D canvas items. Linear disabled. That's fine. I'm not sure about that. Have I used Obsidian? Yeah, I am using Obsidian right now. Well, sorry. When I say right now, I don't mean I was typing my notes in there. I do use Google Docs as well. I have a Y Google Docs command about that. I really like to let them play a pixel art game in a small window if they choose. Yeah, but it might, like, if the decision is give up Linux support or struggle for another like month on it, it might be worth it to just say like, hey, sorry, if you're on Linux, you're forced to just maximize the game and then move on, because otherwise it might take up a lot of time. Anyway, okay, let's go back to this thing. I am too noob to tell you the answer to this. Font oversampling works when using 2D stretch mode and stretch aspect ratio. Stretch aspect other than ignore. When you use viewport stretch mode, rendering resolution stays the same no matter window size. Wait a second, where is the stretch ratio? Like, shouldn't I find that on here? Size 2D override affects stretch as well. Where is stretch? It's on this, but like, where do you set? Huh, I don't know where you do that. Mouse target. Yeah, I don't know about this stuff. I guess viewport should be what you want. Well, there's only ever one viewport. I think we need to use a sub viewport into that viewport because there is viewport stretching, but that would be for the whole game, and I don't want to change that. But yeah, I know where that setting is. That's here. That would let me change the aspect ratio or something here. And I actually don't know if we want to keep the aspect ratio. I guess we do, or else this is going to look really stupid. So I probably need to make this fit into a square. No, I don't think there's a way to do this with sub viewports the way I want to. I think we probably just need to use anchors and scales correctly. Scene hierarchy. Problems. I think we have to lock into an aspect ratio, which means if someone has a square window, that this will look bad. Any New Year's resolutions? No, none. I try not to anchor resolutions to a particular time. So like at any given point in 2025, I probably said like, okay, I'm going to resolve to do this, but it wasn't like I'll wait a month to do it. It was more like I'll just start now. So yeah, there were some learnings like that in 2025, although some of those are pretty personal. But yeah, nothing specific. I want to start in 2025. The main focus for me for 2025, and this is not a resolution, but the focus is going to be launch Skeleseller and start the new game. Unless Skeleseller does so well that I support that for the whole year. I don't mind either of these. I don't mind starting a new game. I don't mind supporting Skeleseller. I wouldn't, if Skeleseller makes like $500, I wouldn't be like, okay, let's support it for the whole year. I'm going to move on. Yeah. He needs 2026. Did I say something wrong? Yeah, sorry. I meant to talk about next year when it comes to resolution. Hey, Stevie. Hey, Chase. What type of game is the new game going to be? Probably like adventure comedy. That's what I'm thinking. Great pun using anchors. Why, thanks. Okay, so I think the other approach that we could do here is anchor the text position and then just scale it according to the window size and scale factor. The scaling can just be via font size. Hey, Mike. Didn't realize there'd be a new game. Now I'm torn because I want Skeleseller to succeed. I also like the idea of a new game. Let me put it this way. I think a new game will happen no matter what. The only question is, how long will I support Skeleseller for? And the plan right now, in case anyone's not on the same page, is release a full V 1.0 with no DLC plans or early access or anything like that. So it'll be, the game's on Steam. It's a game. There might be some bugs. I fix those bugs, but it's not like, oh, I planned on having a roadmap of 5 years or something. It was more like release a game, hope people like it, you know, support it for a bit. And like I said, if it does phenomenally well, if it sells like $5 million in the first week, I'd probably support it for longer. But otherwise, yeah, move on to a new game. Hey, Goose. Thanks for the resub. Happy 2.5 years. Yeah, so that's the only question is how long will I support it for? After that, yeah, I do have plans to make a new game. I think the new game would also be a radically different development style. So the just to go into a little bit of detail about this new game, like I said, it would probably be like adventure and comedy. And picture something like Undertale in tone, but not in mechanics. And then I think it's almost like a collection of smaller games. And I think I want to do like more AI driven development. Could rub some people the wrong way. I kind of want to just try it, see what it's like. Well, thank you, Mike. I'm glad I could amend your aspirations for me so that it's success no matter what. All right. So the other thing that I mentioned here, if we're not going to do things this way, is that we take this stuff out of here and this stuff all broke, didn't it? Because now this is not the right size. This is just the screen cover. This shouldn't matter. This should, though. Something's wrong with this. Oh, it's not in a canvas layer anymore. That's why. I was like, this is very messed up. Yeah, there. Okay, so now this, we do one of those, do one of these over here too. Okay, so the anchors being in the right spot. If I were to change, I guess you can't change the canvas layer, but you can change this. So you can see that that text, dedicated my life to the shop, is moving so that it's always on the right side. What we need to do is make it so that when it's like a gigantic screen, that it gets bigger, I guess. I don't know if there's an easy way to do this stuff, because The extents of the font are going to change too. Hey, Franken, what do you mean with AI driven development? I mean, like right now, I like sort of incidentally use AI now. So I have Copilot. It's mostly for auto completions. I think maybe like 2 times on stream, you've seen me use agents. So the new game, I'd probably like try agents first for things and just kind of see what that does for development. Thanks, Sam. Yeah. Although just to be clear, this new game probably wouldn't be for many months. Also, development would eventually look pretty much the same as this. You know, you'd dive in on a given stream day and you'd see me work on something random. So if this is not appealing, the new game probably also won't be appealing in terms of development, I mean. But thanks for dropping in. Yeah. What do I do with this? Scaling it via font size. I think the problem will be getting the text to fit on screen. Thanks, Sam. I can't think of another way that we would do this, though. Still remember the botland days? Yeah. I learned a lot. I gotta say, I think the worst possible outcome for any project is it does poorly and you learned nothing. Ideally, it either does well or you learn something from it. Well, ideally, both. But yeah, if neither one of those things happened for Botland, I'd be like, wow, what a waste of time. I think it's almost impossible to work on a project for like 5 years and not learn anything. But still, you should learn some pretty profound things based on the amount of time you spend. It's like imagine if you went to college for 4 years and you learned nothing. It's like, why pay for college at that point? It's very US centric conclusion. I know in other countries you don't pay for college. Hey, thirsty drink. Still need to be able to debug right from scratch. Yeah. Hey, Aussie. I built Wordle in German in Visual Studio in about an hour, all prompt driven as in my test case. Yeah. I think you can do quite a lot with it in terms of speeding things up, but I wonder what it's like for sort of a full project, because I do think it's great for tool development right now. I'm also just watching, checking, giving you prompts. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it's going to be like to do on stream. I don't know if it'll be good or bad or what, but I want to at least test it out. Definitely pretty interesting. Missed the random blinding red light. Sounds weird. Such problem does not have recommendations or example. Feels like a common enough scenario in a game to have such a need. Well, so the most common thing that I think people would do is modify their viewport. And the viewport has like a stretch thing on it too. And I guess that is another option that we could do here. We could modify the main viewport. We would just be doing this for a single scene. I think it could potentially mess up how the world renders though. So our viewport settings that we have, we don't stretch at all. So we need to change the stretch for something, which is where a sub viewport would come in. But you can't change the stretch on that Godot sub viewport container. There's a stretch true or false. So there's no way to keep the aspect ratio. Maybe that's what we should look for. Oh, I still don't know how we would do this. Sounds like you want to render your game to a different viewport than the UI. You can set different stretch settings. Oh, you can have multiple viewports? Wait. Are the controls just not in here? Am I being a doofus? Does this inherit from viewport? No, it doesn't. No, yeah, it doesn't. How do you do this then? So maybe I should be making a window? Yeah, window inherits from viewport. Maybe that's the way I should do this. Window inherits from viewport, so we could probably have a custom stretch mode on this. Yeah, it's hard to predict this stuff, Thirsty Drink, on the long term because of how much AI is changing just sort of year over year. Because it could go either way. Maybe we hit a singularity and then pay scale goes to 0. So viewport has size 2D override stretch out. It does, but then I would basically need to keep the aspect ratio myself. But there's another thing that I'm kind of curious about is like, let's say we had a perfect like viewport with aspect ratio and everything. What would I even set this up to do? Like, I don't know how to draw what I want to communicate here. Let me make a new thing. Can I have this default to pixels? I always want it to be in pixels. Just whatever, I don't care. Create. Okay, so where's the tool I want? Oh, I can never find anything. I don't know where this is. Press Y for the pixel tool. There it is. Where did this come from? Oh, there. Yeah, okay. So I can just draw now. Yeah, so what I was thinking is you have, like, I have this text and there's a whole bunch of like lines of text that go like this. And as you stretch this outward, I would, I guess, want it to look like this, so that those same lines just kind of get distributed differently. But you could also change this so that it turns into a square, let's say, or like a thin rectangle. And then I want them to get a little bit smaller, like that. I can't draw that last. There we go. Like, I can't even totally figure out the requirements ahead of time for this. And maybe this is just a dumb way of doing things. Maybe the way I should do this is just change how the scene is laid out and make this simpler for myself. Well, thanks, Joker. Yeah, I appreciate it. I guess the others, yeah. So like, just change the scene layout altogether so that we don't run into issues with this. Just use an embedded iframe with transparent background. Make it display an HTML file. Well, okay, like even if we had HTML, I'm not sure what I want this to look like on a large enough screen. Like if the game window is this small, we're not going to support it, right? But like, let's say it's this big. We can't just pick a rectangle at the top and like render everything there. It's got to cover the screen, but then there won't be space to fit the text. And I don't have a plan for this. Yeah, I don't have a plan for this. Yeah. There are like 3 basic shapes and I can't accommodate all of them. Wide rectangle, tall rectangle, and square. It does make me want to, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so hang on one second. Okay, sorry. My wife was asking if I've had the cat. Having the ability to font size relative to min viewport width, viewport height would already make that much more easy. Yeah, so I mean, I could do that. I I could just detect when the window size changes and then get the size of the window that I have and what I expected it to be and then change the font size. It is doable. And that is one of the methods I kind of talked about here, like anchor the text and then just scale it according to the window size and scale factor. Maybe we just anchor to the centers of where I want this stuff. How'd this end up way over there? What are you doing over there? What is it doing over there? Oh, did I expand the whole thing? No, did I? I did. Oh, yeah, my bad. I forgot I did that. And now there's no undoing that. Well, there's if you click don't save. Gonna support displays up to 4K? Yeah. It's not necessarily gonna look great at every resolution, but should look decent. This is anchored at the top. Can I change that? I don't know. Grow direction. Ah, we could say both on these. Both and both. Yeah, but then it's like, it's offset from this thing. Because it's rotated. And it doesn't know how to rotate correctly. So I put it there. Yeah, now it's centered. But if I rotate it around this, yeah, it rotates around its upper left. What do we do about that? There's a pivot offset. I think you need to keep this in sync with the size of the label though. So if I said this is like 100, yeah. So we move that offset there. So I set that to, what is that, like 350 maybe? Not too far. Just hold down until it's on the right spot. There we go. And then there we go. And now I can rotate this around the center. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking for this. I don't like this at all. And as we change the font size, that anchor is going to need to change. But like we would go position this somewhere on the screen. Then we could make this move wherever we wanted to. And then we could just increase the size based on something. No settings to control the pivot point. Not by a percentage, I think. But as you can see, we can do it. I think maybe the best thing to do is just this. Just change the scene layout. So I'm thinking is like, just make all text show up horizontally with no rotation. Just pick a random spot on the screen. Pick a random scale. And just render it. And if we pick a random anchor too, shouldn't this just always work? I don't understand this. I don't know why this isn't always visible on the screen. Clearly, I have not anchored this correctly. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. But like I said, this is like the biggest problem for today. So I don't care if this takes another few hours. Sounds like it should work. Yeah, it sounds like even this should work. Oh, whoops. This is set correctly. It's taking up the whole screen. This is taking up the whole screen. Thought 2 should be anchored over there somewhere. I think the problem is I'm setting the left. I need to set the right. Whoa. Maybe I do need to set them both. But then why doesn't this work the way I would expect over here? Oh, now it's... Yeah, now it's working. Hey, Ramy. How's it going over here? Not the greatest. Hey, who cares? Who cares? Let me know if this is too sensitive, but is there a follow-up to the saga that you've started telling us about? I am very curious. Heard something about pivot rate offset as a ratio. It's got merged for 4.6. Oh, cool. Yeah. Wow. People have been asking about that for a while, right? Yeah, very neat. Hmm. Still kind of debating on this though. Like, should I just go with this? Is it pretty much the same as what I'm doing though, other than the rotation bit? Like if we just cut out the rotation, if I set this to 0, now what? Is this always like aligned more or less? I guess at this point what we do is we'd set the grow to be on the left. How do you do that? Left. So now it's anchored to the right, and it should always be this percentage from the side, if I'm not mistaken. It's not a percentage. Why is that the case? No, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Yeah, never mind. It probably is. I'm probably just dumb. Yeah. So it should always be at the whatever that mark is, 0.85. So it's 85% of the way toward the right. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I think we should probably do. Ask if I had updates. Oh, I was talking to Who Cares. Sorry. But if you have updates, I'm happy to hear them too. It doesn't have to just be Who Cares. All right. So if we do this and then we rotate, is there a problem? I guess not, right? I guess there isn't. Yeah. So maybe I was just complicating this. Okay. It certainly seems that way. I think we just have to be careful about the, what is it called? Grow direction? Grow direction, yeah. Still holiday time frame. Haven't gotten a response back from either person. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Yeah, cool. And like I said, if it's ever too sensitive or you don't want me to talk about it, that's fine. Yeah, I always think about, there was some famous quote by probably Winston Churchill or something. I don't remember who said it, but about diplomacy, like diplomacy is giving someone a ladder to be able to climb down. And I don't think the community has reacted poorly to this, but if someone's about to make a bad decision, everyone's like, this is dumb, you're making a bad decision, then it would come off like, oh, well, now I don't want to update these people. And I hope it never came off that way. I think it was just like an exercise caution kind of thing. So that's why I say if it's ever too sensitive, you don't need to talk about it. So my CV to a friend who's working for a company that's looking for devs, also writing a letter to HR. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. I wonder what HR will do. Okay, so can we just go back to the original scene now, or do I need to do anything else? Oh, right. I need to do the sizing. That was the problem. Yeah, so I guess we come up with the size of this at the regular scale, and then as it gets bigger, I just change the font size. So let me put this on the other monitor so I can just see this. So we go into this, we have the font size here. It is currently set to 36. So if I were to double the size of this, could we just double the size of the font? So this is 72. Yeah, but it goes inward because of how I set the grow direction. So as I make this larger, well, I guess what else would you expect to have happen here? Maybe this is fine. As long as it's visible. We could change the pivot offset too, right? Yeah, it's going to shift it up or down. Also the official escalation now, yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth exercising that. Because even if nothing comes out of it, it's not a very high cost thing. Okay, so how do we get this back to what I had originally? Like if I just run this scene, It doesn't take up the full screen? No, I don't know why that is. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Do I have scaling set in any of this? No. Maybe it's not taking content scale factor into account. I think that could be it. But then how is this over here? Oh no, wait, I only anchored some of them, I think. Oh, this still should be huge, right? Man. I don't like this. I don't like this problem. I don't have any pictures of this, do I? No. No. So I only anchored one of these to the side. I think that's why this is happening this way. But the sizes still seem wrong. All right, let's look at the cutscene in the game. Man. All right, can I just click this? Does that work? Save and load. Nice, I can. I'm replying YouTube chat. It'll feel like I'm clairvoyant. YouTube's 10 seconds behind? Wow. Yeah, I want to get a picture of this. And ideally, I could pause this, but yeah, it's not going to work. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have enough time to do that. Well, whatever. We could just run it again. So here it is at full size. Whoops, not there. Got to paste it in here. Here's the full size and a half size. I mean, it's already getting cut off. In fact, well, it's getting cut off in a way that I guess I don't mind. Oh, there was one on web late. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. So now I expected this to be just off screen. Well, some stuff's off screen. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Who cares? Yeah. Sounds good. So yeah, why are we not seeing this here? This is the question I had now is like this Stupid Entitled Adventurers goes from, well, it just goes over like the center of the screen and takes up roughly half the screen. So when I run just this scene, why is it only taking up a quarter of the screen? And I think it's a content scale factor isn't being applied. Content scale. I think it is this content scale factor? No. Is it this? No. Huh, let's just set it in here. Content scale factor. I think you just set it on a root window and you're done. Yeah. So I can just set this here to be 2. Get tree root. Does that fix that? I didn't mean to open FL Studio. Whoops. I should probably just remove that from my bar. Yeah, that fixed it. Okay. So I need this to work at any size. So when the window size changes, I need to figure out what's the actual viewport size, which I think takes content scale factor into account. So if I just go over to here, get viewport divided by, yeah, so we don't care about that. We just care about this. And this is a rectangle? No, vector 2. Vector 2, right, because this is size. Size equals this. So now I want to change the scaling of one of these thoughts. Let's just go with Stupid Entitled Adventures, which is thought 9. So rich text label thought 9. And change, how do you do this? Theme font size override, font size. Is it font size? I don't actually know what it's called. Normal font size. Oh, this one's in bold though. So this one's okay. I want the bold font size. Bold font size. So let's just see if this is working and changes to 1. We shouldn't be able to read this at all. Or maybe we see like a little squiggle on the screen. I'm actually not sure what happens at font size 1. Yeah, there it is. It's not really anchored where I would expect. But normally we want this at 80. So we do like, I guess let's print out the size that we're rendering at. Oh, I pressed F5. Oh, man. I just pressed the wrong button. I could just change it so my main scene is this testeroni scene. Yeah, so this is the right size. And now as we shrink this, we would shrink the font size. Is it printing out? Yeah, it is. And this should just be based on the width, I guess? Yeah, so we could say like float width factor equals this, and it's 1980 normally. And just multiply this by the width factor. Cannot convert from float to int. Yeah, I don't care about rounding right now. Plus or minus 1 font size isn't going to make a difference. Yeah, so now as I shrink this, you can see the font size getting smaller, but you can't see the position changing. I want this to always be at the center of the screen though, so can't we just anchor it to the center? Done. Well, I guess not really the center of the screen, but that where you can use maybe offsets or something. I guess we choose custom. Offsets are set for this, but I think this is a problem of the anchor that we have, or the whatever that thing is called. I don't know what that thing is called, so I can't even find it in here now. Here, pivot offset, that's what I want. So we just slide this until it's over there, and then slide this until it's in the center. And now this should always be centered and always be increasing in font size as it goes up, right? I guess. I don't know. Oh, we're just looking at this one string. Does that look fine? It kind of does. I don't think the scaling should be linear. How do you deal with different keyboard layouts? For example, use Colmac, but other keyboards are QWERTY. You just get used to it. I think I mentioned this before, but if you use QWERTY even once a year, you'll probably remember it. If you somehow didn't use it for like 10 years, it'd probably feel a little bit foreign, but then I think you'd get used to it again. It's pretty much the same with human languages too. People who like move out of their home countries and then don't really speak their language on a regular basis eventually forget how to say some things. It's not like they've forgotten it for good. They can remember again at some point, but it doesn't come as naturally. I think the same especially happens with writing. If you write in a different script and then you don't do that for like 12 years, you're probably not going to remember it as well. When the pivot offset change when updating the font size. Yeah. So I need to set this through code, which I'm just kind of shortcutting right now. But I wanted to see if this effect is even like good enough. And I don't know. That's the other problem. Like I'm not a visual mastermind here to begin with. So if if you have the window this big, it's not going to be good. But yeah, if you have it like this, I guess this would look fine. Yeah, so now we would just need to do this on all of the strings. So how do we figure out what the pivot offset should be, I wonder? Set this property's size divided by 2 to pivot around the control center. Oh, that's easy. Okay. So thought9.pivot offset equals thought9.size. There's no size. Oh, there it is. Okay, divided by 2. Yeah, that would change. That would change what I was talking about here. Whoops. So hard to click the side of the window. It kind of jumped there for some reason. I don't know why that happened. Yeah, weird. I think we need to do this again after one frame. Or maybe we do it on this one, or we call this twice. Looks like now the domain email that I was contacting has been deleted. Yeah. Well, on the plus side, at least the red flags weren't just red flags for no reason. Could it jump because you do that before changing the font? It could jump for a number of reasons. But yeah, I was doing that in the wrong order. So yes, it could be that. The other thing it could be is that sometimes Godot has some like weird layout stuff that's going on that's not really worth explaining. But this will probably fix this. Because yeah, I was just doing that in the wrong order. No, wait, it's still jumping. Yeah, so here's what I think. I think we can do this. If we say bool call again equals true. And then if call again, call deferred, window size change, false. I think this will fix it. And I think this is like a weird hack. Failed to build. None of these match action. Yeah. Let's try this. Because really at this point, I don't really care what hacks we commit. If this works, then it works. So I do this and then yeah. So that fixed it. So we do just need to call this a second time, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think this one string looks really good. It's using the wrong bold font. We need to change that. Bold font, quick load, bold. That'll make it no longer have holes in it. Yeah. Now, also things like the outline size would need to change. Yeah, I don't think people will resize the window in this. The only thing, well, actually, I could see one scenario where it was small to begin with, and they're like, oh, a cutscene. Okay, I'll watch this, and then they maximize it. That I could see happening. But even that'll probably be uncommon. So yeah, I would need to change this for all of these. I guess let's get all of the different thought ones. They're rich text container, or rich text label underneath thoughts container. So let's go get the control thoughts container. This is just a control thoughts container. So every time we change this stuff, we want to change the pivot offset of all text. Update pivot offset. All right, so for each rich text label in this dot of type. Good. Yeah, that'll work. So now we don't need this here. We can call update pivot offsets instead. Then I want to update the font size for all of them, but I want the font size to be based on a starting font size. So like this one was size 42. This is 36. I mean, they're pretty much random. But yeah, 42, 36, 34. Let's go to testaroni.tscn and just figure them all out from this. 42. Yeah, so we just search for that. 36, 34, 48, 39, 39. This one's italics as well. We should just modify all three font sizes at once. 39 again. Why are there so many 39? I probably just got lazy about changing it. Yeah, I think I did. And then this one was 80. Okay. So then how I want to change this is we need to get like int index equals 0 and then index plus plus. And then we want to get all the sizes. Base font size equals those. And then let's call this update fonts, update labels, and put this in there too. And then put this here. So we're going to update the bold font size, the normal font size, and the, what is it, italics? I just got to look and make sure that's correct. Bold, normal, and italics. Yes, it's pluralized. And then we set this to just a font size here. Font size with an E. And then set the font size of this. Font size equals, change these to label. So font size is going to be equal to the base font size index, whoops, times width factor math.round, mathf.round. What's the difference between these two things? And I'm guessing that doesn't return an integer? No. All right, I think that'll work. Let's try that. Hey, Flair. Oh, math is Godot. Well, no, there were two math Fs. There was a math lowercase f and a math capital F. All right, so now if I shrink this, now the pivots, or not the pivots, the anchors are going to be wrong because I never set those for all of them. And yeah, we probably want some minimum size for this. But we can at least see the strings on the left. Since they're anchored to the left, they're still visible. There's going to be overlap. I think that's okay. Oh, we could find out the answer to that question. I don't... What's this? This, yeah. Okay, so math lowercase f is a Godot thing. And do they have a round function in here? They do, yeah. And all that does is call... all it does is call the C# round. I'm coding with AI. I'm using Copilot. What am I making? Oh, this is Skeleseller. It's just for the outro. That's all. Yeah, if you look at the today command, it's talking about what I'm doing here. So yeah, I think we need a minimum font size or that we don't change this linearly. The other thing I want to test though is what happens when we set this to 1. Because this is gonna roughly double the size of the screen. So now how does it look? Yeah. Now it's borked. What is an outro? This is just like the ending cutscene of the game. Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. We do need to change the outline size, I suppose. What is that set to right now? Outline size is, I think, 4 for everything, except for this, which is set to 8. And it has a shadow in this case. Outline size is 4. All right, how do we do that? Label dot add constant override. I guess we could just look at the UI and find out where this is. Constant outline size, copy property path. There we go. Outline size. So the base outline size is 4. And we're just going to change the outline based on the font size, I guess. Can't we just make it the font size times something? Font size divided by 20, for example. And maybe round that up. Is it not? What's this? Why is this wrong? Call is ambiguous between, oh, I see. Yeah, that's probably decent. Is there such thing as like a bold outline size? I wonder if we should set the shadow sizes as well. It might make it more visible, but I kind of wanted to try putting these in thought bubbles too. Where's the shadow? Shadow color, shadow offset, shadow outline. Shadow color. All right, let's just copy everything. I mean, as long as we're doing this dynamically, it's not like I have to do it 9 times. All right, so set the shadow offset X to be shadow size. We'll set this to 2 for now. Then set the Y and set the outline size, and now set add theme override color. Font shadow color is colors.black. And now the 2 here should probably be like matte.ceiling, this divided by 40. Yeah. Valuable member to team in my workplace. I mean, you could still be doing a lot of stuff without ever opening a code editor. What am I doing? This is the wrong thing. I'm going to just change this because this is annoying. We have it set to run main.tscn. If I just change it to wherever this thing is located, copy path. It is in scenes, game outro, testeroni. Okay, so by doing this, I should be able to just press F5 now, which is good because that's what I'm doing accidentally. Good. Yeah. So now this should increase the outline and the text shadow, and you can kind of sort of see it, I think, on this large text here. Well, I think you can. I hope I'm not going crazy. Yeah. So like the thicker border on the right side of this D is because of the shadow. But on the left side of everything is just because of the font outline. And you should be able to see that everywhere, but it's a little bit more subtle. Yeah. And we could just change that. I could set this so instead of divided by 40, it's like divided by 30 or something. And then we just see what that looks like. That I don't care about right now, though. That's going to be something that we can do at the end if the text still isn't readable or at a particular level isn't readable. So yeah, we made it a little bit bolder here. It's like, sure. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The thing we need to worry about is the anchoring of this. And probably set a minimum font size. Yeah. Because when this is super large, this looks fine. But when it's small, it looks too sparse. So I think what we want to do is set the font size to be... Oh, man. How am I going to do this? Let me think about this. Oh, we could just figure out what these values should be. So like at 1920, we want it to be 80. So when it's at 960, we might want it to just be 50, not exactly half. And maybe at double this, like maybe we want it to be, I don't know, 150 or something like that. Is that a theoretically true statement? Yes. So I guess what we're looking at here is something like this, where we have 50 here, and a straight line would go like that, but we want the middle point to be a little bit higher, so it'll curve like that. So we need an exponent in here somewhere. Or I guess this... out of curiosity, if I just did log n or log x or something like that, like, could we take this portion of the curve and get this to work? I mean, of course we could get it to work. It's like, how much would we need to scale this by? Where n is from like 500 to 1500. It doesn't graph it. There we go. So go from 6.2 up to like 7.3 or something. So yeah, we could use those scaling values and apply this to our font size. This is probably overkill. So let's come up with our new scaled font size. Int mathf.round, that's all fine still. And then we want to do mathf.log of the size And that's going to give us something in this range. So like 6.2, and we wanted 6.2 to map to like 30. So just multiply by 5, I guess. I don't know. Let's just try that and see what happens. I think it's going to be too small at the high end now because it only went from like, yeah, it only went from 6 to 7. It's not even getting bigger. Oh, it is getting bigger. It's just very, very slightly getting bigger. All right, well, let's just multiply by 9. Doing such a bad job. Yeah, as far as the small end of the font sizes go, I think it's fine. I think it needs to scale up a lot faster. So I think this is actually like a bad curve that we're using for this. Hmm. It's not even getting bigger. It is getting bigger. You can see that no one got me an antidote is pretty small, and then we like it's shrinking and it's growing. Oh wait, no. Sorry, is this that might be an old version. Okay, yeah. It is still shrinking. It's just not shrinking or growing at the rate that I'd want it to. What if we do n times n? It'll give us a bigger range. I don't think that's really necessary. Is this even doing what I want to be doing to this curve? No. N log n for more aggressive growth in the middle. All right, my brain is off. let's try something else here for a sec. And 1 minus x, or not. Well, let's just do n squared. I mean, this is going to shoot up, right? And this has a different inflection point from what I want. I think I do just want it to be log of something. But I still feel like I'm messing this up. Yeah. All right, well, I don't know. Also, let's just move these around a little bit as long as I'm messing around with this stuff. So they look a little bit different. We're not even using the base font size anymore. Oh, whoops. Yeah, right. We're not. It's pretty important. So we multiply this by the base font size and then divide by some amount, like 10. Or not 10, 5. Base font size needs to be a float. Wait, oh, whoops. I meant just the one base font size that we have. Actually, honestly, this isn't too bad, even though it's not growing by a whole lot. Because it's at least visible on the screen. I think I do want it to get bigger, though. Let me print this out. And I don't need the window size changed here. Well, I guess I could have it. All right, so it goes from 7.5 up to 8.3. Yeah, so I think I want to square that, right? Log n times log n. This is very unscientific the way I'm doing things. So now that's going to be in the range of about 35 to 70. So it's already kind of in the font size range that we want. So if we were to multiply it by this, we'd then need to divide by about 40. I don't know if this will look better. I can just mess around with this off stream at some point. Pretty good. I guess we can just tweak these font sizes independently now. Like I can set this to 120. Yeah, and then just change these scaling values. I feel like I'm still not doing this well. I mean, changing that by a factor of 50% could just be dividing by a number that's 50% smaller, which is what, 26 point something? Yeah, it's too big. All right, well, let's work on the anchors next, and then I can change this later, and we can see what it looks like at a couple different sizes, because this isn't too bad. Yeah, so anchors. So no one got me an antidote. Is that one looking okay? Yeah, I think it's fine. All right, next one is thought 2, dedicated my life to the shop. Is that one fine? I think that can be further to the right if we're going to do this. So the anchor point of this changes there. Now how's that look? I don't feel like that had an effect at all. Oh, I forgot to save. Oh, and I'm not even running through Godot. There are several problems with what I'm doing. And now it'll take effect. Yep. That looks fine. I actually kind of want that to be even farther over. Yeah, like that. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so that was string number 3. String number 2. Thought number 3 is here. Is that one already fine? I just wanted to be an inventor myself. Oh, I gotta vertically position these as well. So this one should maybe be at the bottom of the screen. So layout, anchor point, set this down here. This is the UI juice, isn't it? This is not very good work. I will say that. This is now off screen. How is that possible? How's it possible it's not off screen over here? That's the part I'm wondering about. I think because of where this thing is, maybe? That doesn't make sense, though, does it? Is it less off screen now? Maybe it's not growing in the right direction? But I don't have any way to test that here, do I? No, I could change the font size. Oh, or there's an offset? No, there isn't. Oh, wait, this. Vertical should be, I think, top. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's good. Okay, so that, yeah, good. Next, thought 4. Can't you see I'm a skeleton? Okay, so where's that one? Yeah, that one's already pretty decent, I think. I think I want this one to grow in both directions, though. Should probably figure out where that is. Grow direction. Where is it indeed? Oh, because this isn't custom? Ah, I see. So I want this to be both. Does that help? Now it's centered. So we should probably just center this on the screen. Oh, this just has a bunch of anchor offsets. I don't want any of that. I want this to be like there. And yeah, a little bit down from the top. How's that? Nice. It's got the same general rotation as this one though. So let's rotate it as a slightly different direction. Just do one of those. Done. And now it is growing in the wrong direction there. That should be set to both as well. No. Well, maybe. And then just move this down a bit. Okay, so how's that look? Yeah, pretty good. Okay, next one, top 5. Been worked to the bone. Set this to custom. Delete all of these. Set this to somewhere at the bottom. And over here. And set the grow direction to top. And probably both for that. And then move that over the side again. Wait, no, this one. This one should probably be left. And then we anchor it like that. Okay, how's that? Yeah, pretty good. Next thought number 6. No one got me an antidote. This one we already said was fine, right? Which means I didn't look at whatever thought number 1 is. Back to adventuring. Where's back to adventuring? There it is. Yeah, that one kind of needs to show up where you'd expect to be reading at the beginning. All right, so then we are on thought 7. Why isn't this a big deal for him? I mean, some of these could just be kind of floating there in the background, but I think I want to move this to like this space. So custom reset anchor to there. Oh, all right, I messed all that up. There. And now grow direction, bottom, and probably both for that. All right, how's that look? Yeah, tiny window sizes, it's not going to look good. So we would have to move it to the side, in which case I just set this to the left, I suppose, and then position it again. And now that won't be a problem. Okay. Well, I'm glad this is this is working, even though this is a really sucky process. So this is the I struggled so much. Where is that? That's currently in the middle of the screen. So this is positioned via offsets and not via proper anchoring. Custom reset. All right, so I want to throw this into that space right there. Good. And then grow to the right and from the bottom, and that should be good. Or no, that should be top. There. Okay. And that's it. And we have stupid entitled adventures at the end. Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, we can now copy all this back into the original project and have it work. But let's try while it's easy to try over here. So let's set the scale factor to 3 and see what that looks like. This is as zoomed in as you can possibly get the game. Yeah, so this is too much, which means I messed up the scaling. And it looks bad. Oh, I guess that's content scale factor doing that. And the only part that looks bad is the edges. Every individual letter other than the edges is readable. All right, I gotta figure this out. We gotta set like a max font size. Size.x divided by 1980. So it thinks that the window size is very tiny. This is this amount times like 100. I don't know. So what do we have? 640 divided by 1980 times 100. We have font size of 33, which is going to look 3 times bigger. I mean, if I'm going to print anything, I should print everything every time. Windows size. Width factor. I don't even think we have that anymore. Yeah, I guess let's print the font size. And then maybe the max font size. Love to move beyond this. Max font size is a 32. That is quite different from the 104 that we're getting. Then they're all going to be set to 32 though. So I think I just need to change the ratio that we're scaling these by. So this works for basically any window size. In fact, I don't even know if content scale factor matters here. Like we could just set this to 1 and change the window size. And it's like just dividing the window by 3 when we change it to a smaller size. Yeah, like this is what we were seeing before. This is like the content scale factor 3 bit that we had before. So I'm not trying to get this to look good at every single size. There's a limit to that. But like we should probably shrink the font size in this case. So it's setting the font size to 118. And we're just doing this on the size of the window. We can't do that. It has to be a width factor thing. Yeah. In fact, I wonder if we do that here, width factor. So this now goes from 0 to 1. It's not good. Wait a second. C# mathf.log. What is the base of this log? Yeah, natural log. So it's base E then, right? So I don't ever want to do this based on 0 to 1 because that's stupid. It's negative infinity. Well, yeah, I don't think we want to do that. We could just add 1 to this, right? From like 1 to 2. Yeah. And I'll go up to like 0.7 or even 1 to 3. Because it could technically be beyond this. What's the natural log of 1? 0. Not gonna work either, right? Maybe 2 to 4. I'm just trying to map it to some range that's actually gonna work. Yeah. That should do it. There's +2. All right, now we try to get these numbers to work. So log of 2 is 0.7. And this is going to go up to like 1. 0.7 times base font size of 80. We then need to multiply by 1 divided by 0.7. 1.4 or multiply. I'm just going to try this. Hey, Panazor. What's the next goal you're working toward? I mean, the main goal we're working toward is launch. So the next intermediate goal is get back to playtesting and marketing. And in order for me to do that, I wanted to have the outro look good. I have been playing on my high-res display, which has a scale factor of 2 in the game, and everything is set for that. So when you use a scale factor of 1, which a lot of people have, the game just looks bad during the outro. So we're trying to fix that. So it's basically like get the outro to look good so that we can get playtesting to work again, so that we can do marketing. And then while that stuff is going on, fix everything else. It's not even just fix everything else. It's also like make a trailer, fix up the Steam page, those sorts of things. So non-game specific things. Wow, that actually worked pretty well. All right. Yeah. So now if I, and that's set to 1, right? Yeah. So if I set this to 2. Huh. I didn't expect that to work that well. Yeah, this is decent. This is kind of clipping off the bottom, and I don't know why. But that's the only string where that's happening. I know there's overlap here. That's okay. This is meant to be chaotic. But I don't know why that bit is happening. This, I just want to be inventor myself. This is set to grow to the top. So I think that should be impossible. Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. Let's run it through here. Oh, it's because of the font size, right? Of course. Oh, so I technically should be taking the font size into account when I do this, I think. Or what I probably should have done instead of font size, I should have just changed the scale. Oh, I didn't think of that. I mean, it's not too late for me to do that, but let's see what happens when we do that. So let's say we set the font size of this down to like 2. So now it's, I don't know where it is. Well, let's increase it until we can see it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so yeah. So there it is. And now let's say we just scaled it instead of changing the font size. Scale set to 3. Yeah, so it probably went off in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's scaling weirdly. It's going like up and to the left. Why? Because this only makes sense when it's there. Yeah, this won't work, as you can see, because scaling it is making it look jagged. Wow, if it did work, though, that'd be exactly what we could use for this. It's too bad. So technically, when we're coming up with the anchors, we need to take into account when we're very close to the edge. In this case, what we can do to fix this is just move this up the screen a little bit, and it won't be a problem. Just do one of these. Done. Okay. All right, so that was 2. Now what about 3? I don't think many people are going to be playing with this size, and they'll still be able to read the big ones that we have here. So I think this is fine. And if you were to shrink this, then it's a problem. Because wait, what is this? What is this doing basically? It's saying like you have a really tiny window size. Yeah. Because the content scale factor is so large. But if you had a tiny window size on a scale of 1, maybe we do need to take the content scale factor into account to accommodate these extremes. Because if I make a really tiny window here, oh, I guess tiny window is like this size. Okay, never mind. We don't need to take the content scale factor into account. I just need to handle what happens when we're at really, really tiny font sizes. I mean, the easiest thing to do would be something like this. If size.x is less than like 600, then just do font size equals font size times 0.7 and then round this. It's going to cause a jump when you shrink it down to that size. Wait, oh, there it is. And it still doesn't fit. So we need to like really shrink it. And ideally, we're doing this before that point. At which point, this is just a scale that we apply to this, which is already using width factor, right? So we just need width factor to take into account an even bigger portion. Width factor. All right, well, here's what I want to do, I guess. Times equal math.min of width factor plus 0.51. All right. This is really stupid. Hey, Boomer Tester. Yeah, it's a scan of my thoughts. I just hate adventurers, you know? I mean, that kind of worked. I don't think the... No, it is shrinking. Interesting. So what if we just didn't cap this? Or set this to, like... Yeah, what if we just didn't cap this? No, we need to add some amount. Because otherwise, at the minimum size, it's going to be bad. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to probably just end up writing a comment saying, this is Magic Numberville. Hey, look, we did something. Yeah. So then why even bother adding that? Why don't we just have it be the width factor? Because at the small size, it's going to shrink to 0. I wonder what scale factor we're playing at. Hey, nice. Man, that's... Okay, well, that took me a while, but it's working pretty well now, I think. So let's go try it in context. First, I'm going to set this to 2 to see what it used to look like, because it should still look like what it used to pretty much. I mean, some of the text got moved around. Yeah. Now we don't need this because we don't use this anymore. Yep. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of things we got to write. I'll say to do write why we have call again here. To do write about magic numbers. Okay, so we got to put this back into the original scene. This will be a little challenging. So we're going to keep all of this stuff. Thought 1 to thought 9. We copy that into outro antidote. Thought 1. Here it is, to thought 9. Paste. And then delete any extras I put on the outside. Nope, that's pretty good. All right, so yeah, the only things that should have changed would be the rotation, the anchor, the grow direction, all the layout stuff. And then this set a pivot, which I guess isn't necessary, but it's also not bad to do. And we set a bold font, which definitely I don't want to do. Oh, whoops. Yeah, no, we definitely can't do that. All right, so now I should be able to load the original scene, but this is insufficient because we need to put the script onto there. So this should go into outro antidote. And it's going to set the font size of everything. So we call these two things, and we get the thoughts container, which I don't think we needed up until now. which means that this scene needs to have a unique name for it. Okay, so now I just copy paste a bunch of stuff. That, this, delete the scale factor change, and then these two things. And then we watch our outro and we should be fine. Okay, let's try it. Oh, right, I gotta change project.godot as well. It's loading the wrong scene now. How do we fix this? There. Yay! This took a long time. All right, let's turn on the music. Let's fully consume the outro. The letterboxing. I forgot about the letterboxing. No. The letterboxing. All right, well, we could figure out what the letterboxing will end up at. Oh, no, we apparently can't. Oh, because it's done through the animation player. Well. Where is the letterboxing? There it is. Okay, so what are you set to? 0.075. Okay. So that means that every anchor that I set should be altered by this much to still fit on the screen. Let's do this through the scene file. And it's just top and bottom. We don't care about left and right. Those aren't letterbox. So here's the bottom. This is what? I should have taken a picture. Oh, we don't need to take a picture because I have YouTube. Mute. Click. Aha. Why is this there, though? In my test scene, wasn't it a different spot? No, I guess it was there. I kind of wanted that farther to the left. I guess we can still tweak these things. All right, well, yeah, that's fine. So let's just look at all the text that is not showing on screen. So can't he see I'm a skeleton? Can't he see I'm a skeleton? This one. So this is anchored to the top. Its grow direction is set to 2. I don't know what that means. This is thought 4. Grow direction is set both. It should just be bottom, I think. That might have just naturally fixed this, but I need to watch the scene again to find out. All right, well, let's keep looking. What else do we have? Those are all fine, fine. I've been worked to the bone and used to be an adventurer myself. Used to be an adventurer. Oh, wanted to be an adventurer myself. So this one's already set to grow from the bottom, which means that we just need to change these anchors to be minus this amount. Done. And then delete that weird rounding. And then what was the other one? From work to the bone. This one's a little bit harder to tell because I'm blocking it. So I don't know if it goes off the screen. We can bump this one up a little bit though. Yeah, how about just subtract this divided by 5. There. Okay, now we'll watch one more time and I will turn off my video for this. So we can see everything for the YouTube video. Continue. I think we speed it up at the beginning. Oh, we never changed that engine scale though. Nah, never mind. We won't do anything clever. I should voice act all of this. I've got just a thing. They all sound like they're in a middle school play. Line. Oh yeah, cool. Okay, any text going off the screen here? Good, good. Nope. Can't you see how a skeleton is going off the screen? Everything else looked pretty much fine. How did that go off the screen though? Can he see? Oh, because I changed. Yeah, I see. So let's go. Oh, did I even modify it in the right scene? I think I didn't. I think I changed it in the test scene and not in here. Yeah, I did. I did that incorrectly then. So we set this to bottom. And you can see it's still jutting up against the letterboxing, but the letterboxing gets even worse when you do this. Yeah, so we need to move this. This will only work for English strings though. We're still gonna have a problem. This just shouldn't be set to both. This should be set to left. And then just bump this over to the side. Unreal Engine Skeleton Battle Royale game. Every April Fool is just another Battle Royale joke for me. Alright, I guess we can do this and look at them all. This one's still a little bit close, but now that it's going to the left, I think it should be okay. Is this one going to the left as well? It had better. Yep, it is. This should be fine. That is going to the left, yeah. We'll move this down a tiny bit. Well, actually, I don't even know if the whole string. Let's just click this button and find out. No, yeah, the string does get clipped. Okay, so we'll bump that down a bit. Done. Well, I'm glad we tried this in context of the game. So now I think we're good. All right. I'm gonna write some comments in here. It's a mess. Change the labels as the window size changes. This is here because of the typical can't update things in one go issue. I didn't look into this since I'm fine with this being hacky in just this one cutscene. Welcome to the land of magic numbers. Yeah, the main point of this function is to make sure the labels work well at any given window size. As such, yeah, the easiest way to test this is to make a scene that shows all of the labels, make a test scene, shows all the labels, and then just resize the window when the, how do we type this out? Cref equals content scale factor. This comes from Godot though, so I don't know how where you get this from. I said it in here. Where does this exist? Window? Window, yeah. Window.content scale factor? Yes, nice. Content scale factor is set to 2. Or no, 1. Sorry, what am I doing? Const. I don't mind making some constants here, but the rest of this isn't going to make sense. So const float base width, yeah. And then replace that and replace this one. We vary the font sizes by a little bit. We do some other little things here. The +2 is to offset log 0 being negative infinity. Is that what happens? C# playground? In C#? Like, I don't think C# has the concept of infinity, but I don't actually know. mathf.log 0. What does it print? Using math? Namespace math cannot be found. What is this in? System.math. Wait, what is that a thing? I don't know what I'm doing. System.math is not a thing. So what is this complaining about exactly? Because it should be enough to just use system, right? Math that does not exist in the current context. It comes from system. Maybe it's not in this .net. Maybe they moved where it was. They did. And then negative infinity is a thing. Okay, well then, that makes my comment even more accurate. Have to sell potions. Shoot each other in the face with shotguns. I don't know about that. And delete this thing. Yeah, cool. All right. I hope this never matters. We don't ever use max font size. Okay. So that's it. I think we can check this in now. Yeah, delete my testeroni scenes. Actually, how about this? Let's just do it that way. All right, so the reasonable changes toward the top of this file, I'm okay with. This stuff is pretty hacky. It's at least pretty much commented to indicate that it's hacky. And I'll try one more time in the game. And I think at that point we can say that the outro is done. There are maybe some tiny little polish things we could do, but I think we can say it's done. Yeah, okay. I like it. Oh, so sick of this. Oh, man. All right, so that's all done. I'll put this into my stream of consciousness just in case we ever want it again. Although this is why having the VOD is kind of nice. But you can't search VODs as easily as you can search text. So now delete the testeroni stuff. Let's go do that. Fix text part of the outro. It was pretty hacky, but I think end result is nice. Do I even need that log in there? Is that? I think that's... No, I guess it's kind of fine. All right, so now publish this. That's all we had to do on this branch. Just one commit. Merge the branch. Great. Okay, squash and merge. And I'll write this here like when I'm free. Test the outro again at a CSF of 1. All right, so this has been merged. Yeah. Switch back to main. Consider unwinding with some good old bug fixing. Copy a Nintendo property and get into a legal battle like Palworld. I still haven't played Palworld. I kind of want to see how much of a copy does it feel like. When the trailer had first come out, people did say, oh, this looks like Pokemon with guns. But I think any creature collection game will naturally make a lot of people think of Pokemon now. And it doesn't matter whether it's at all like Pokemon. It's just like, well, if you're collecting creatures, the game is like Pokemon. And I wonder if people, like, for Monster Sanctuary or something, I wonder how many times the word Pokemon shows up in the reviews. Let's just search. I'm a huge fan of Pokemon. You ever feel like Pokemon is too easy? I mean, these aren't really references to the gameplay being similar. Can you search reviews? You can. If you enjoy monster taming formula from games like Pokemon, everyone seems to be able to do Pokemon better than Pokemon. Yeah. So lots of I think just any game that has creatures you collect is now gonna feel that way. You enjoy Pal World and Monster Sanctuary. I think Pal World, I want to still give it a shot at some point. I feel like I've kind of missed the boat. Monster Sanctuary I did not enjoy. It felt very grindy and unfun. Well, it felt unfun. Then it felt grindy. Yeah, like I wasn't even enjoying the beginning of the game. But I think I don't enjoy many things. All right, so consider unwinding some bug fixing. Is that the most important thing right now? I feel like we're done with the outro now. Graphics, storyboard. Do we have an issue for it? Outro. Handle fading to and from the outro. I'll say this is done. Different strokes and whatnot. Yeah, you know what blew my mind? So I found out there's a Stardew Valley mod that someone made, and apparently it was based on an old school RuneScape mod where I don't know how this works in old school RuneScape, so don't ask me about that. But you have to buy access to tiles. So like when you start in Stardew Valley, you're in your house and you go from your bed to the door. That takes you 10 tiles apparently. Well, you need to pay to be able to walk on those tiles. And then you have your farm, right? And normally you can just access it and start cutting down trees and stuff. Not on this, you can't. You have to pay. But that's fine. Like I can understand some people liking that. This reminds me kind of like, what is it called? Skyblock or something like that in Minecraft. But the problem I felt was that he made it so that tiles like 0 to 10 cost, I think 10 gold. And then tiles 10 to 100 cost 100 gold. And then tiles 100 to 1,000 cost 1,000. And every tile after that is 10,000 gold. And it was like, is that fun? It's like ultra grindy. And I suspect, I think this person wants to do a video series. I suspect at some point they're going to be like, yeah, this is too grindy. I'm going to not do this anymore. Because in my mind, a lot of programming in general is sort of like prove you can do it and then have a computer do it. Something like this. Prove you can do it manually and have a computer do it. So imagine if I made a game where it was like click 10,000 times and you get 1 gold in the game and you can never improve this. And I'm like, okay, now your goal is get 1,000 gold. It's like, yeah, you could do this. Is anyone going to have fun doing it? Probably not. And maybe they write an automated thing to do it for you. And then I could see you having fun doing that maybe, but that's kind of the programming aspect of this. So it's like, all right, do you want to be harvesting trees for like 5 gold every day for the next like 2,000 in-game days? No. Tile man mode. Yeah, hey, Charlie. Unofficial restrictive game mode that content creators have done. There's a plugin in RuneLight. Yeah. Well, Cookie Clicker is not really the example of that you can't upgrade this. The whole point of Cookie Clicker is that you upgrade this and then you automate it. So like your click might start out giving you 1 coin, but then eventually it's going to give you 5 coins. Eventually it's going to give you 100 coins. What I'm saying is imagine if it didn't do this. Imagine if there was no automation. Like you can click. No one's going to be like, oh, it's difficult to left click in a game. It's annoying to left click 10,000 times. And it's annoying to left click like 1 billion times to have to do something. And that's what I felt like that Stardew mod was. So anyway, the grindiness, that's kind of what prompted this. I feel like grindiness is one aspect. I get that some people find the monotony of it relaxing or meditative, and I myself enjoy it in some games, but that game didn't seem like it hooked me well enough in the beginning for me to want to do any of that stuff. And there was like a lot of walking through just like boring terrain. That's the other thing. I feel like if you're going to make a platformer, like every screen should matter in some way. And the only exception I'd probably make is the beginning of the game so that you can drill mechanics in. So if I were to just like draw a platformer world here and I had like some platforms like this, it's like, okay, you jump here, then you jump here, then you continue on, right? It's like you shouldn't have the player have like 1,400 screens that look like this, where there aren't difficult jumps. You're just progressing through it. There's nothing interesting about this. There's no like learn a new mechanic. And Monster Sanctuary just felt like it violated that. That it was like, oh, we'll make like 50 different screens look the same. It just made it not fun to progress. You have plans to expand the music, like have unique music in the outro? Probably not, just because of the amount of time it would take me to do that. We have 4 town tracks right now, and I'm working on a 5th. And yeah, we started. I have like a lot of the ideas in the 5th town track. This is not finalized though, and I've got to spend some time polishing this. But I'll play the basic idea for you. Let me mute myself. Wait, hang on a second. I gotta make sure this is on the... Yeah, okay, good, yeah. Okay, sorry, something is wrong. And I think it's the tuning of something here. I wonder if this is messed up. Let me see. That's weird. Yeah, huh. I thought I fixed this. Why is this like super wrong? Pitch is fine. Fine. That is way off. Yeah, what's going on here? How do you save this and actually get this to save? I'm going to reload this and see. This is V number 3, and the pitch was set to like plus whatever. I don't know. Because I think this is just... This might be a bug. Oh, or it might be that some automation is controlling this. Because, yeah, I can't play this when it's... Yeah, it's pitch shifted up again. Okay, so what is the... Is the project doing that? Tempo, that's all I have. Huh. I don't know how that's happening. It could be a bug in the plugin. That's really annoying that this doesn't save that way. Well, do any other ones have a problem with that? No. No, no, no. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, well, anyway, all right, I'll play this like I said. There's a lot of polish needed. I didn't even put a transition there. Anyway, that's the idea. So, man, I hope I don't have to file another bug report on this. That sounds like I'm gonna have to. Hey, Mousetail. Sorry, off topic. Don't segment your messages. Such an oddly specific rule. I support it. It's annoying. It bothers me so much in so many different contexts that, yeah, the worst is in group messages on a platform that you have many different group messages and that you don't want to mute notification sounds. You have like one person sending 14 notifications to everybody in the group. And I'm like, oh, if only I could tell them. So I can enforce it on my stream. So I do enforce it on my stream. We sell the OST separately. I think I'll just put it on YouTube for free. I don't think it's worth selling. I'd rather just spread the music. All right, so where do we leave off here? Localization we're still working on. Controller support. I do think some of the controller support stuff is probably worth doing soon. I don't know about doing today, though. New trailer, launch date. Yeah, I think we'll just go through to-do items today, then. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're at the point where we should probably be picky about the to-do items. Like, I shouldn't just tackle anything on the list. I should probably tackle the most important stuff. So I think we need to prioritize some of this. Power addresses this by having the bond stat. Oh, while we're criticizing it, one thing I didn't like is once you discover shifting. I don't know if I even got to that point. I probably played for like an hour or something. Yeah. Also, let me get a chair. Actually, I'm not sure this is a good idea. I've been standing today because I kind of hurt my back yesterday, and I think that sitting is going to be painful. But I also don't want to stand for like 6 hours. Yeah, let's just stand for the rest of today's the morning stream at least. All right, this is something we can do now, and this is also important. Make sure my tags on Steam cause games to show up that are actually similar. Let's go take a look at this. I think this will actually be fun. So let's just click Management, Strategy, Idler, Casual, Auto Battler, 2D. Management. So I would not consider Cities Skyline to be the same. I don't know much about Jurassic World, but also probably not too similar. Endless Legend. This is considered a management game? Wait, what? Huh. Factorio. Factorio is kind of similar. Yeah. Ranch Sim. I guess management is a pretty wide genre, or wide label at least. Yeah. So maybe... Does City Skyline show up twice in here? Yeah, 1 and 2. Maybe this is fine. Dave the Diver, I haven't played that. Football Manager being a management game makes sense. Wow, mostly negative. Sims, what else do we have here? Well, I guess what games are similar to Skeleseller? There's a game Reciteer. Is that what it's called? Yeah. What is this called? Capitalism, Anime, RPG, Dungeon Crawler, JRPG 2D. Interesting. Huh. Because I have not played this game, but people told me it was pretty similar. I mean, Capitalism I could see. What happens if you click that? Software Inc. Construct and design buildings for optimal working conditions. What's this? I can't even read that. A up? Q up? Q up. Weird choice. Mall simulator. Wow, I wonder how many people use this tag though. Like how many people are like, I really want to play a capitalism game. But these are kind of similar in terms of what I would expect. Huh. Yeah, interesting. Mostly a meme tag. Well, some games are using it, and if they're using it, I wonder if what? Risk of Rain 2 is there? This can't be right. Doesn't even have the tag, right? No, it doesn't have the tag. Okay, I clearly don't understand what I'm seeing right now. This says all, but shouldn't it have my tags applied to it? Huh. I don't use these because they're so misused. Yeah, I at least want to see if the main ones are similar. So strategy, again, this is pretty broad. I'm not certain it's worth categorizing my game as a strategy game, because none of these are all that similar. Yeah, I probably should ditch the strategy tag. Idler, we were keeping. Yeah, I think that's fine. Casual, I think we should keep. What is this one? Auto Battler. Auto Battler I don't know about, because Auto Battler does kind of connote something specific. No, maybe it doesn't. Looking at this game, it doesn't. I was picturing things like TFT and Hearthstone Battlegrounds. But this doesn't even look multiplayer. I think that's at least what started out with Auto Battler. Yeah, I think Auto Battler should probably stay. Okay. Here's delightful. Yeah. 2D we can keep. All right, so we don't have RPG on here? I think RPG might be worth putting on instead of strategy. So what does RPG give us? Let's click that. Traveler's Rest. What's this? Craft, farm, build, and cook. You'll have to use all the available tools to become the best tavern keeper in the realm. This sounds pretty similar. I think someone might have told me about this. I've never actually played this game. Yeah, I think we should have RPG instead of strategy. This one has life sim, management, farming sim, pixel graphics. Yeah, for RPG. I think it's probably fair. Okay, I like that. I'll do that some other time because modifying Steam on stream is not that easy. Update Steam, change strategy tag to RPG. What's the turnaround for those tags? I think it's immediate, but there might be some small caching. I am not super concerned because I plan on doing this week, and I don't plan on launching till like March. So even if it took a week, we should be fine. All right, where do we leave off here? Can't set main. I don't know if I'll ever fix this. So I think I'm just gonna file this and just close it. Because like I said, we gotta cut out some of the things on this to-do list. Whoop, that didn't work. Copy markdown. There we go. Can't use skip title screen in the game. You can't set main skip title screen to true without it failing to initialize. It thinks it's in challenge mode. I don't really think this is worth fixing, but maybe maybe we should write a comment about it in the code or just delete it if we can't get it to work. Yeah, I don't think this will work. Why does that show up 3 times? That's weird. Maybe I search for something different. Oh, maybe I search for skip. I don't know. Yeah, so if this breaks, like we just can't set this to true, then I should probably just delete it for right now. I guess even by me spending time trying to build this, it means that I'm doing something about it. Yeah. Unhandled exception of system null reference exception occurred. Object not set to an instance of an object. So I think this has to do with our initialization order. I really don't think this is worth doing anything about right now. But we probably should delete it from the game if it's not going to work. Yeah, I'll just copy everything here. And let's get the stack trace. So here's one of them. Yeah, I'm just gonna delete this. There. Skip title screen. Goodbye. So if skip title screen, we set this to challenge mode. We're just gonna delete that now. String when this and not this. Now we just delete it. So this can't exist. Wait, neither of these could exist. It's just always gonna go to the title screen. So name of that. Why do we have a skip loading screen though? Main scene loading without intro state. Or main scene town. So we never go into these directly now? Doesn't that mean we can delete these from here? I think you might be looking for this, but I'm not totally sure. Oh, and sorry, Charlie, I missed your other messages. Another fun game restriction people do is rolling an objective that they have to do next, and they can't do anything except the stuff that prepares them for that. Yeah, that sounds almost like how randomizers work sometimes. Not quite, I guess. And I've also seen like bingo boards when you play a game where you have to get a bingo, so you have to do like 5 objectives or 10 objectives or something. Environment setup, VS Code profile. The VS Code profile I've never shared because a VS Code profile is pretty much just hotkeys, which I think are kind of personal. So if you ever were curious, like which ones I use or something, I don't mind sharing that. And then extensions. And I've got the VS Code command that talks about some of the more used extensions that I have. As far as environment goes, I've got this command that shows some of the setup of my machine. So I hope that helps. All right, so what, we're just deleting some of these things? Main scene town state. Is that a thing we do at all anymore? Oh man, this is gonna be hard to track down. Created a Bing mode. Oh, a bingo mode. Oh yeah. And I like those sort of meta mix-ups that people do. Excuse me. Okay, so we got to see, can you still enter these states? So this one, yeah, I guess I might as well just do this now, huh? All right, let's put the where I left off tag there. So this state and this state, do we need to delete them? So over here, we can delete all of this, I guess. And skip loading screen isn't needed, which means that these aren't needed. So now what uses this? Game intro goes to main scene. Okay, so this is still necessary. So that one's fine. But what about this one? Title screen. Yeah, this is fine too. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. So I should be able to launch the game. And we just delete half the code from that one scene. I'll mute this. So new game should put me right in the game, yeah. But if I go into feature flags and I turn off debug mode, so set this to false, then it should put me in the intro. Theme looks so pleasing good. I really like this theme. One of the things that I think, like, you might think, oh, a theme is just aesthetic, but I think at some point you start equating colors with states. So like for some people, red is bad, green is good. In code, you probably have red and green as colors just in your code. So like green is a string for me. I've gotten so used to seeing this now that I feel like if I were to change the theme, it would probably do a disservice to myself, even if I like the aesthetics of the new theme better. So I'm probably just going to stick with this theme forever now. But yeah, I don't dislike the colors that are used. I think it's nice. Hey, Jim. Let's see. So this should go into the intro. Yep, nice. And then we can skip this and go right to the town. Also nice. And then, yeah, we get into this tutorial and everything. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we'll check this in. Oh, this is checked in and this too. And I did not get rid of the local settings saver. None of this other stuff should matter. Yep. All right, so I'm just going to say that this fixes this issue. Oh, we should be in another branch when we do this. Get checkout-b to-do list. Yeah, to-do list, sure. To-do items. I don't know. All right, so remove, what's it called? Skip title screen. This was buggy. See, that fixes this by bypassing it completely. Yeah, if we ever need this again, we'll have to code it correctly. But I don't foresee needing it, and I don't want to spend precious development time fixing it. Good, 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 good. We'll just spend our precious dev time writing out comments, long comments. All right, so let's go back to here where I left off. File the rest of the tasks from this. What is this? Oh, a tabbed container. Whoa, no. Okay, fine. Yeah, we still have to finish some of these things. But specifically, we want it for this tab so that actually goes to the to-do list. Yeah. All right, I don't think that's very important yet, so let's just bump this down here. This I want to fix. I think this is important. We show question mark, question mark, question mark, even after you've unlocked every location. I did cheat to unlock them, but saving loading didn't fix it. All right, let's go into the game. Let's start a new one. We'll get to a quest, and then we'll see if we can tell where an item comes from. This shouldn't take very long, and I think it's going to be broken. So we do this, get the tavern, then start a quest, and it shows question marks. And then when we beat this, oh, it does say forest there. Does it get converted to Swift? No, so all programming languages that a human would type get converted into a machine language. So Swift is eventually running as machine code, just like how C# is eventually running as machine code. And they run through different processes. Like, anyway, it's not worth going into that. But yeah, so no, you will not generally convert things to Swift just because it's Mac. It'll still just get converted to bytecode in the end. And kind of like proof of this, although this is not exhaustive what I'm about to say, but CPUs have like an instruction set, and it's generally that there's some operation code that you have and a couple of parameters maybe. And these are generally very like simple basic operations like add two numbers or fetch the thing at this memory address or store this in memory. So none of these are things that a human would generally write. You can write assembly code, but yeah, nowadays you wouldn't typically do that for like making a web application or something. I was wondering if you're going to stream as much in 2026. So it's a little tough to figure out because I do want to focus on marketing, and I don't think I can do a lot of the marketing I want to do on stream. And even if I could, I don't really want to do it on stream. So I think that at least for like the first 2 months, maybe we'll probably tone down the number or length of streams, or maybe both. Then launch will happen, and then I keep saying I don't know what's going to happen after that, but depending on how Skeleseller does, I might start a new game, and if I start a new game, I'd probably do that on stream. So yeah, expect at least the first quarter to be a little bit bumpy in terms of stream times. But I'd like to still stream. So wait a second. We only saw this with the yellow potion. With the blue potion, it looks like everything's working fine. Let me go do this. And maybe this all did just come down to cheating. Oh, because maybe beating the locations isn't what does it. It's getting the item. Oh, all right. I don't think there's a bug here. Yeah, I don't think there's a bug here. I think it's because I cheated. Yep, it is. Okay. Well, then we don't have to do anything here. But I should probably write this down in the future. Yeah, so what happens is this. I can unlock all locations, so that's a cheat. But the way to get these question marks to go away is to actually get the items from those locations. That doesn't happen when you cheat. So yeah, this is not a real problem. How many levels? You mean like how many locations are there on the map? Because there's 3, 6, 9, 10. There are 10. But adventurers can get up to level 20, and then there's a guild supply level 2, which is technically unbounded. I say technically as though there's some practical limitation. There isn't really a practical limitation. It's not like, oh, it takes 10 experience points, and then it takes 100, and then it takes 1,000, and you're like, oh, well, now I'm never going to get 10,000 or something. It's like, well, it just takes 5, and then 5, and then 5, and then 5. So, yeah, it's unbounded. All right, so this is not a problem. Next up, I think we load every single asset in the game on the first loading screen. We should probably have a way to request bundles of graphics. That way the ending cutscene isn't always in memory. Same thing with fonts, especially the CJK languages. Oh, thanks, Andrew. And wow, 3 months in advance. I appreciate it. You're subbing for possibly the worst time for the stream, but it's still nice of you. Yeah, I will still be streaming because there will still be development work. And I think even if we tackled like 5 bugs a day, every single day until launch, we still wouldn't get through everything. So we probably need to drop a lot of stuff. Anyway, I think this is probably pretty good to look at. How do we handle loading everything? Loading screen. We fetch all the resources somewhere. Here it is. We go through all scenes and get all SVGs. Okay, that's not a problem. But I think the scenes... We don't load fonts until we need them then, right? I wonder if there's a way to test this. It is stressful, yeah. There's so much to do. And there's so much more you can do for any launch. Whether it's polishing the product or doing more marketing or getting more influencers on board at the same time or something like that. Just reaching out to game press. There's a lot. So we don't seem to load the fonts. Can I prove this? If we just launch the game, I think it goes through a loading screen. No, it doesn't. But if you click new game, it does, right? Yeah. So now we look at the memory usage for this. I don't know if there's a better way to do this than what I'm about to do. Where's Skeleteller? I think it's probably just this. Because I don't see Skeleteller here. Hang on a second, let me do this off screen. I'll search for it. No, yeah, it doesn't show up. Oh, there are 2 Godot processes, so maybe it's this one. Will the shortcut menu in the upper left stay? It'll stay. It might look a little different, but I don't have plans to update the graphics on that. And it's the only thing that looks a little bit out of place. But yeah, I do want those menus to be there at least. All right, this is at 789 megabytes after starting a new game. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to change the language to any of these. And I don't know why I closed activity monitor, because I need to go find that again. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that proves that it's not loading that font to begin with. And now if we quit and re-enter it, now it will load that font because of my locale. Also probably going to load all the other fonts anyway. $870. I'm waiting for this to stabilize. It should update soon. There it goes. Yeah, $870. Oh, wait. Oh, I know why. Because just going to the settings menu did that, didn't it? And then clicking this. As soon as I click this button, I think the memory is going to shoot up. Yeah. But I think Chinese is the biggest font. So if you have Chinese chosen by default, then it won't shoot up by as much. But if I choose English and then save and then... I guess it's still going to be in memory, right? So like going back to the title screen doesn't do anything. Anyway, if I quit and come back in. So yeah, whatever this says, 400. Is there a way to refresh this so I don't need to keep waiting? Yeah, whatever. Let's just wait. All right, so yeah, 400. I click this button. I click this button. As soon as I click this, it goes from 420 up to like 700, I'd guess. 530. Why did it shoot up by like 200 earlier? Maybe because I clicked this and it did something? Yeah, it went up by like 30 when I did that. Is it whenever I change fonts? Uh-oh. Yeah, it looks like just clicking these buttons is causing memory usage to go up. I wonder if there's a leak here. I don't think this is worth looking into right now, because I don't think people are going to change their language like frequently. Some people won't change it at all. So I'm just going to ignore that for now. Probably a way to request bundles of graphics to be loaded. That way the ending cutscene isn't just always in memory. Is it worth doing this? Like all scene paths? Where do we get this from? Get everything in scenes that ends in TSCN. Yeah, we could change this so that we omit some of these. Because I think we only use this for loading all the different scenes, right? All scene paths, and this is only used for the loading screen. Yeah. Yeah, so we could just pick all the ones that we want to preload and get rid of the ones that we don't need to preload. Like the intro would also be part of that too. And we could speed up loading by doing this. So I think this is probably worth it. They'll probably just get the scenes to preload. Yeah, so no intro, no outro. Wonder how that would change things though. You see a loading screen anyway, right? Dot. Is there like an exclude? Where? So let's just make a set of strings here. Actually, how about this? Let's print every one of these first. All paths equals this. Return all paths, but before we do, print it out. Oop. So I want to see what kind of stuff we're loading. It didn't print. Oh, because I didn't go to the game yet. There we go. And it printed just collection. How nice. For each string path in all paths. All right, so this will print out 424. No, wait, it won't. No, it will. No, it won't. Because we don't include resources in this, which actually now that I realize, oh no, SVGs. It's not resources. So what do we got? Copy all. Okay, we get a whole lot of this stuff. We get all the game intro and game outro stuff. These I think can be omitted. Anything else that's not necessarily going to be used? Oh, unused scenes are loading too. Wow. Definitely that. I'm glad we looked at this. Because that's never going to be needed. These are all fine. Yeah, any normal playthrough is going to have you loading most of these things. Maybe we cut out the signs, but I think they're in the town scene anyway. And then maybe the challenge mode stuff wouldn't necessarily need to be here. And debug stuff too. Man, I didn't realize this. We're having players load more stuff than they should. I also should probably just do some minor profiling here to see how long this takes. Anything else? No, I think it's pretty good. So just these folders. So I think let's copy this. And then let's do one of these. So these I should get rid of. If the path starts with any of these, don't preload it. And then make sure the intro still loads quickly and see how this impacts the loading screen. I think we print out how many milliseconds it takes. Don't we? Yeah, 900 milliseconds. Okay, so then all we need to do is cut this out. And let's run this just 3 times or something. And we'll just get the average of whatever they are. So now it's not printing out whatever that was, 300 paths, which itself is going to take some time to do. So I'll just click this once, reload. So it took 1076. Now, if I do that again, it should be pretty much instantaneous, right? Yeah, it took 18 milliseconds that time, which is why we got to just restart the whole thing. Now, once I cut out these other scenes, I don't expect it to shave off like 200 milliseconds, but it'll shave off a little bit probably. So this was 1086 and one more time. Also, 1 second for loading is not bad. And then 883. That's quite the variance. But anyway, 1076 plus 1086 plus 883 divided by 3 is 1015. So these are my three things. 186, 883 led to an average of 1015 on average. Now we're going to cut out all these scenes that we preload. Yeah, so it ends with this and not ignored paths dot contains. We can't do ignored. And yeah, not f dot starts with any of the ignored paths, I guess. All right, let's just make our filter function over here because otherwise it's going to get really annoying. Private static bool is preloadable scene. Okay, so if scene path that starts with ends with TSCN and well, how about this? Let's just start with that one. Return false. And then we're going to go through all of the bad paths. So private static. I guess it doesn't really matter what we make this. I read only list string scene paths to skip preloading. It's going to be these four. Oh, didn't mean to type 2 commas there. Okay. And then we put this in here. So yeah, if it starts with a skip path, then return false. Otherwise, return true. Okay. Okay, so now let's just have it print out all the paths it's loading. Before, and I think we still have this, yeah. So before we had all of these, and now we should have, was that like 26 fewer paths? Yeah. So we used to have a total of 251. So I'm just going to load this. Should be 225, if I'm not mistaken. But this does not count for profiling. $251 still? That's not right. Oh, because I never passed in the function. Is preloadable scene. And you know what else we can do? We can just say int count equal. Oh, I mean, print a count. We can just do this here. gd.print total. Yeah, preloadable scenes. Come on. Great. What do you box select a piece of code? What do? It's middle click drag. It's very rarely something that you actually need to use. It's still loading 251 of these. That's not good. That means that this isn't working. Scene paths is skip reloading. We go through all of those. If the path starts with that, we return false. Huh. Weird. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. All right, well, let's just print it out. Skip path. And then we'll print out all of these. I must be wrong here. File extension is always true for the ignored paths. The file extension is always true. And hate to lose. First if. Yeah, that's fine. But it's this part that should be negating them, and it's not. And I don't know why on that. So let's see. Skipping, res scenes, game intro. Oh, what's this doing? This is not what I would expect. Scene path isn't even the full path. It's just a folder. We call filter on just a folder, file name. Huh. I mean, it should still be skipping this though. What am I missing? How about this? Let's just, oh, we never get the skip path of the, oh, I guess it was you never dip into this. Oh, my bad. I know what I'm doing. Whoops. I meant to put this up here. And this was supposed to be scene path. Okay. Yeah, whoops. Hey, Smack. And hey, Matt. And happy holidays to you too. I can't believe New Year's is coming up. We're running out of time. 2025 is going to go away. We'll never get it back. Ah, I see. So it's not the full path. That's the problem now. All right. We need this to be the full path. So filter file name. This needs to be joined path. Yeah, that's my bad. Because we can't tell enough from this. So if it doesn't end in TSCN or if it starts with this, now I think we're good. Unless we find a way to make a time machine. But then which time loop are we in? Is it the one where we already would have made it by now so we'd know? Or the one where we forked off into a different reality? So now we should have loaded, oh wow, 187. Really? That cut out a lot more than I thought. And it lowered the time. What the? Skipping preload of scene path. Okay, let's try that. I wonder if it's skipping more than it should be. Because it cut out like 70 of these and it shouldn't have. No, something's wrong. Oh, UI ended up in there. How did that happen? No, maybe that was intentional? Why would I have done that though? Oh, challenge mode. Whoops. That's what I was supposed to get. UI/challenge mode. Yeah, my bad. Whoopsie doodle. There. Now this should give us the number 200. I think it was 25. And then we're fine. 229. Strange. Strange indeed. But yeah, it is cutting out all of those correctly. Maybe I just selected the wrong number. Yeah, we only cut out 22, not 26. Why did I think it was 26? Because I got the UI ones? Oh, because of UI debug. That too. Yeah. That's the other 4. Oh. Hey, IGB, how you doing? Happy holidays. All right, debug, right? Yeah. Nice. Okay, this was a worthwhile endeavor. This should save some number of milliseconds, which we'll find out soon enough. I'll do that test if this says 226 or 225. Yeah. Then it does say 225. I just got the number wrong. What does this say? Put this with a lowercase letter, field not follow property. Lowercase letter on a static thing? Huh. Okay, sure. Anything else? Use explicit path. We don't actually need this. We can just return that again. And we don't need to print that we're skipping something. Okay, so now we're going to do the... Oh, come on. I hate ordering issues. Okay, now we're going to do the performance test. So we're going to do 3 trials of this. And we'll see how much it sped it up by. It was at almost exactly 1 second before this. So I'm hoping it is now less than that. 795, that's actually significantly better. 795. Our lowest trial before was 883. So it's already like 1/10 of a second faster. And then this one is 861. And we're going to do one more. And that was 839. So we turn these into plus signs and divide by 3. And it is now 832. So 832 divided by 1015 is about 18% faster. Nice. Yeah, so some of those paths could be loaded in the future. The intro will definitely be loaded because I hope that someone who makes it to the title screen is actually going to play the game for once. The outro will probably be loaded for some people, but it's pretty rare. Unused will never be loaded. Debug will never be loaded. And then the challenge mode stuff is only if you actually go into challenge mode. Well, we're doing just a tiny bit of optimizing. I just wanted to make sure that we're not loading stuff that definitely doesn't need to be loaded at first. So now the last thing I want to do to test this is to set this to false and try to get into the intro and see what happens. So it's going to have the loading screen, but then it's going to load something extra, and we might have a tiny problem there. I don't know, though. And let's turn on the sound so I can hear if there's any problems. Yeah, I don't see any weird like timing issues or anything. And I think the reason why I don't see any timing issues is because the intro scene wraps all of the sub intro scenes. So if we got to the first scene, then we'll get to all the other ones just fine too. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okie dokie. All right, nice. Quit. So we don't need that. Scenes that players either never need or only rarely need. These just won't be preloaded on the title screen. Are they pre-recorded or are they just simulated Godot scenes? They're, I guess, what you would call simulated Godot scenes. A lot of what's happening is a combination of animation player plus code to get that stuff to happen. So, for example, like text appearing, there's a show dialogue function in code and you pass in some data for it. Like we're calling that function, as opposed to like an MP4 or something that's just playing out. So one of the things we started the stream with, which I probably can't show you very easily, but if you were here during this time when we were doing all those text things and then getting the text to resize properly, that was so that people with different screen sizes could still have this work. Now, I guess technically if you had a video file, you could have it work for pretty much any screen size, but you'd have to decide what you're doing when the aspect ratio doesn't match, which would either be like add some black boxes or cut off some of the video or have many different saved videos for different aspect ratios. And actually, since we were kind of, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll just stop there. All right, his preloadable scene looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Cool. So stop loading all scenes when starting a game. We now only load the scenes that we know for sure the player needs. Now, what this means is that when you click challenge mode for the first time, I didn't actually test this. I should go test this. When you click challenge mode for the first time, you will load a scene. Oh, this would have happened anyway, though, because we don't preload until you click new game. So when you click this button, it still needed to load this scene and then this scene and this one and whatever else. So that's the same, but then when you click new game, it's going to load some stuff that it wouldn't have had to. That's not good. It just made a sound. Was it the sound of making a farm? If it is, that's actually okay. But if it was anything else... Wait, what? What did I just do? Click that. Yeah, I think that's fine then. Yeah, so like this wouldn't have loaded in until now. These are pretty small scenes though. And each scene triggers of like a 5 millisecond amount of time. So yeah, you won't perceive that. Anyway, I think everything's fine. Ooh, cool. Need to address Codex's feedback about controller support. Yeah, let me put this in here. Except for I think we put controller rebinding in the playtest version. Do I have Steam open? I don't. Do I have an easy way to open that version? Open exported Mac build here. Yeah. If this has controller rebinding, then we're okay. I can delete at least one of those things. Does it? Yes. Good. Yeah. Okay. Next, I know this isn't the focus, but when you have an item that just dropped out of the portal, you can hover it over the slime to see how much it'll sell for. Let's just take a quick look at this one. Maybe it's an easy fix. Want to grab a hoodie? Hey, look, it matches the title screen. All right, what was I going to do? This and then this and then... So we get some items. That works. That works. What doesn't work? Dragging from the shop in one fell swoop. Interesting. Wow. This is a pretty minor bug, but I didn't know that was a bug. Oh, because it's where you drag from the source, right? Someone told me about this. Yeah, and I think this is probably pretty easy to fix. Turn off the sound. Hey, Wem. It takes the populace on where they can even walk. What, Wem? I think I missed something. Okay, so what's that slime thing called? The contextual tip? Yeah, this. And where do we show this? If held item is not null, get the position of what? Of the slime? Okay, that's fine. Somewhere, though, we use some opacity thing. Where's that? Here. Get global mouse position, distance to the slime. That's not wrong. I wonder if this is being called. All right, let's put a breakpoint here. Or not a breakpoint, let's just print this out. Distance to mouse, yeah. Gonna listen to some music? Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. I need all the luck I can get when it comes to marketing. I'm gonna hit continue, but I don't think I actually have the garbage time. I don't. All right, let's get that, and let's put a bunch of items over in the shop. And then if I save like this, then I don't need to do anything special. So we're gonna try dragging from over here. Yeah, distance to mouse doesn't print out anymore. Interesting. But it prints as you get closer to this. So it's only when you do it in one motion. Wow, what is causing that? Huh. Hey, neural net. What is causing that? But it works when you drag it from the ground? No, it doesn't work when you drag it from the ground. Oh, I see. I only thought it worked because I didn't try dragging away. When you drag away, it should fade out, and it didn't. Okay. I see. Okay, so the problem is when dragging from the ground by left clicking without releasing the button. It happens even when you drag without being in a shop. All right. So I'm just not calling whatever this function is. The smoke looks too real. I'm probably not going to change it now. It doesn't show up very frequently anyway in the game. This is on input. So input presumably isn't being called. I wonder if it's because the... actually, I wonder why. Maybe is dragging items false? Is dragging item. Well, I wouldn't expect it to be false. Yeah, input just isn't being triggered. Unless I click to start this thing. Strange. Recycler input isn't being triggered at all. Why? That means that something else is getting the input. So we could just check what's getting the input in Godot. This is a little tough to do. Because we got to be able to see this. Maybe we don't. Maybe we can just... Maybe we can tell what it's going to be. Yeah, it thinks it's the town view container, sub viewport container. Oh, no. It thinks it's the sub viewport container. Town view container. Okay, now I got to figure out why that's happening and then what we're supposed to do about that. Town view here. Container, sub viewport container. Yeah. No. Why though? Why do you have to do this to me? Input here gets handled? That's drop item. There's no other input function? There is a viewport. The container itself has a thing here. What does this do? This is just for right clicking. I don't think I know what to do. What if we propagate everything? Or wait, no, that's the opposite of what I want to do. What if we don't propagate everything? What if we just always return false from here? What happens? I think we won't even be able to click items in the first place. I don't know what this is propagating to exactly. So I click an item. Yeah, I can't click an item now. All right, so then I want it the other way around. I want to always have this be true. So we're probably not propagating it to the town. Now we are propagating it to the town. And I think think I could potentially figure this out. But I think we need to pass in the town and then check to see if we're dragging an item, which I don't like. All right, so is this getting hit over here now? I can't right click now. So we can only do this repro once. So I load the game and I click and drag. No, it's not getting passed to the recycler. How is mouse up getting passed over there then? So this has nothing to do with propagating events from here. That's what we realized. Okay. Town sub viewport container.cs doesn't seem to have an impact if we always return true. So what are we witnessing? You pick up an item and is dragging prints out. All right, I can't drop it now. Yeah, it gets called once, which means the recycler is getting an input event. One. Oh, no, it's not even that. To drag beyond the threshold. I think I know what's going on. I think player held item is marking the input as handled in here somewhere. Yeah, if it's mouse motion and you're holding the mouse and you started dragging, and if you're dragging, yeah, mark it as held. That's why. If you're dragging an item, then the camera should never be able to start dragging. So this is just when you start dragging, though. Oh, man. There's got to be another way to do this. I think we just disable the camera when you're dragging an item, maybe. Because this is what's stopping us. So if I turn this off, I think it'll fix the bug and create a new one. Which is that now when we drag an item, we're also going to drag the camera. Which would probably make it impossible to test whether we fix the original bug. But, you know, maybe, maybe not. Hey, everyone, hour. Welcome in. Happy end of December. Let's try this. Surprisingly, it didn't fix the bug. We're not getting is dragging printing out. Well, maybe something else is marking it as handled. What's this? Clicked item source. No, it's got to be a mouse motion thing. Then unhandled input. Happy end of December. Ugly sweater. This isn't an ugly sweater. You take that back. We didn't even pass the event around here. There's no other thing that could happen here. Not yours. Oh, okay. I didn't really think you meant mine. Or that you were joking. The badge icon. Oh, I see. I didn't even see that. Because you didn't have it on your first message. How'd you get this? Earned for sharing festive clips. Hey, Rohini. You know, a while ago, I thought some kind of like social badge site would be kind of interesting. And now I think Twitch has gone in that direction. And now I find it a little less interesting. And maybe it's because you can only display so many badges at once. And maybe it's because I don't really think of Twitch as social media exactly, even though it is. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't have a desire to collect all of the badges. All right, so I am not sure why this is happening. I think something else needs to be marking this as handled, but do we even use this somewhere else? We check for it here. We don't mark it as handled there. This is player held item, which we just looked at. This is in the camera. Oh, the camera marks it as handled, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Oh, okay. All right. I think what we need to do is that the camera needs to know about the town. There's got to be a better way to handle this, right? We could also just say we're not fixing this bug. All right, let me just turn that off. So now I think we fixed the original bug. Do an ugly sweater contest. Winner gets a free copy of Skeleseller. I think there can be giveaways or something. I don't know about for an ugly sweater contest because that would require people taking pictures of themselves. Well, actually, I'd have no way of knowing that they even took a picture of themselves. It might be just someone they got a picture from online. So they'd have to be doing some kind of like hand gesture, have Skeleseller in the picture or something. Yeah. You know what would be a good giveaway is like who's the biggest influencer you can get to play Skeleseller. Whoever gets the most viewers, I give them like 10 copies of Skeleseller. Mechabellum? Tactical war game. I mean, it looks good. I need to play to find out if I like it. Yeah, it looks good. That'd be a feat that directly benefits me. Getting everyone to mark it for me. They took my item. Give me that. Why is it moving the camera? Oh, come on. I just cut that out, didn't I? Oh, nice. This is okay. This is working. Yeah. So that's what's happening. I at least know now. The problem is that the camera and player held item both try marking the event as being handled, well, as having been handled. I don't know how we fix this. Oh, you know, we could maybe do. Oh, wow. Actually, I don't think this will work. We could put an unhandled event handler here, but it'll already have been marked handled, so I don't think it matters, right? Override unhandled input. Yeah, I don't think this will do anything. It wouldn't make sense why it would do anything if we're marking it as handled, because then the input event isn't going to continue to propagate. I should probably figure out which thing is marking it as handled. It's probably player held item. In which case, that could probably just tell the recycler. Let's see. Does this just work? No, it does not. Okay, so. Hey, Krasner. Yeah, Christmas was pretty good. I worked on it, which was a little bit unusual. And I worked on the day after Christmas, too. But then over the weekend, I tried not doing Skeleseller stuff. So I feel pretty fresh. I feel like I can still do Skeleseller work. Actually, that's not even entirely true, right? I guess I did some stuff on the weekend, but not very much. All right, so if it's player held item that's capturing this, which I hope this prints out. Player held item stopped the event. And then we'll do this here. Camera stopped the event. I think it's going to be player held item. And then we could potentially just proxy this to the recycler because we have the town. I don't like that idea, but it will at least fix this issue. But this is a pretty minor issue, and I've already spent a long time on it and probably should not have. So let's save this. So what just printed out a whole bunch? Yeah, player held item. Okay. Well, that's good news. So what we could do here, and as mentioned, I don't like this. We could just make this public and then do this from over here. Town.recycler ? That. That's it. That would work. I don't like this. It couples player held item to the recycler. There should probably be some like, I don't know, drag event that we listen to directly from that thing. Yeah, so now this is working. Well, something weird happened there. Yeah. Oh, something weird is happening there. What is that? Is it printing errors? No. Okay, what's the proper fix for this? So problem, player held item is consuming the mouse move event so that the camera doesn't. By consuming it, the garbage slime can't get the event. To know how to update the tooltip that shows up, or the panel that shows up, I'll say text. So option 1 is couple player held item to the garbage slime by directly calling a function. Option 2 would be to emit a signal like dragged mouse while holding item, or moved mouse while holding item, and have the garbage slime listen to it. Option 3, there was another thing that struck me. Well, let me think about this. You drag an item. I guess have the camera know. Have the camera know when you're dragging an item and thus can't move the camera. If we just told it, then we wouldn't need to mark that an event is handled, so anything could potentially handle this event. I think I like option 3. I want to try something very specific though here. What happens if we drag and then press M and then hover over stuff? Yeah. That's fine. Whoa. Whoa. What? Oh, right click happens as soon as you click it? Oh, interesting. Not when you let go. And then you start dragging the camera. Very interesting. Yeah, kind of like option 3. I think it should be pretty quick to test too. Let's go try that out. So get rid of this. We need to tell the camera that it should not be dragged. So let's just put a function in here, public void tell camera to not let dragging work. I don't know. We'll rename this stuff later. Or like tell camera about drag bool did start equals true. So now we have a camera somewhere. I don't even know where it is. Camera. Oh, there it is. Camera dot. So this is one of these. We have a way of stopping you from dragging it. Can player move? The thing is, we don't want to stop you from moving the camera. We want to stop you from moving the camera with the mouse. Yeah, so we need a new thing for this. So there's like private bool. Actually, this would just be public, I guess. Public bool can player move camera with mouse. I guess just get set. Yeah, write a comment for this. So we put this in here somewhere. If mouse motion and started dragging, if mouse event. Yeah, so we do one of these and same thing down here. Okay, now we just set or unset this as needed, right? Wherever this is. Camera dot can player move with mouse equals the opposite of did start. Now player held item tells the camera about this instead of marking this as handled. So it won't ever stop the event, which means we don't need probably a lot of this stuff. So is dragging is true. So tell camera about drag is true. And wherever we set this to false, We do this in 2 places? Why in 2? Why is this not just reset drag state? Oh, because that's a true. Whoops. My bad. Okay, yeah, we can just do this here, right? No, is dragging it set to false in both cases? But set drag location's about to... Oh, I see. And we have the same threshold for both of these. So I think we do this here. I don't know, let's just try it and see what happens. So yeah, hopefully this just fixes everything. This was not a very simple bug. I think this might open the door for another fix in the future. Yeah, so this is working now. I right click and I can drag the camera again. Wow. That's pretty good. Yeah, nice. I think this is a pretty good fix for it too. You don't need some new event or anything. How did this scene make it back in my project? Go away. Okay, so this comment, if you're dragging an item, camera should never be able to start dragging whether or not you're within the original distance threshold at this point. So that would go here. And maybe we could just access the camera. Mouse equals false. Yeah, we could do this. Do we do this anywhere else? We do. Okay, so then I'm fine doing this here too. So then this goes away, which means all of this can be consolidated into one if statement, right? Yeah. In fact, it's even telling us we can do this. Merge. Wow. Hey, hard worker. Things are going pretty well. I'm wearing my one of my new shirts from India. Not that it matters too much, but I told you that I got them. There. This is what this looks like. Just a brown button-down shirt. But I'm chilly, so I'm wearing a hoodie. Finally ironed. Finally steamed the shirts. So we change this to and set this to true. So that one should have said false. Yeah, it did. And then delete this from town altogether. Town should have no changes in it now. And recycler should have no changes in it. So we get our, what, like 3-line change that we have. This looks like more because I could consolidate if statements. But yeah, the important part is this. We call false here, that you can no longer move the camera. We set it back to true here. And then we block it in the camera. That's it. Distance the mouse, we don't need that. This doesn't need to be public. So we're just missing a comment for this bit. This is specifically for when the player is dragging an item with the mouse. In that case, we want to prevent camera movement, but only via the mouse as well. This is so that player held item doesn't need to mark the event as handled. That way the garbage slime can listen for input event mouse motion events to determine when to show its contextual tip. That's what I want. Okay, now let's make sure all those links actually work. That one doesn't. Where do you exist? Game source items. Items dot? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Input mouse motion, good. And contextual tip somehow doesn't work. Where do you come from? Scene script? Yeah, that works. Name can be simplified. What? Delete that? Yeah, UI. And now public should come before private. I think we got to put it here. Is that right? Public should come before private is true. Now let's just move it up. Hard worker. All right, there's our change. I wonder if this is going to cause any side effects. I should probably test with a controller. Okay, let's just start it again. Oops. Close out of this stuff. Let me get my controller plugged in. Okay. Story mode, continue. So I should be able to drag. What? No, no. They took it from me. I should be able to drag from here and see this show up or go away. Perfect. I should be able to feed him. Good. I should be able to click and do this. Yep. I should be able to drag it from the shop all the way over to there. Nice. Nice. All right. Is this on? Yeah. I've been working on Android, specifically Studio, and it's brain damage. How to cope with it? Like it's something unbearable. Well, what specifically are you having a problem with? Also, this isn't segmenting because you haven't typed about this before. If someone is like responding to, user X with something like, I don't know, what's the weather where you are? And then separately, they're like, I used Android Studio for the first time. These are not messages that need to be combined because they're different contexts. So it's not just typing a lot of messages. Like if we're having a conversation, it's not like you could have known ahead of time what I was going to say. All right, this is pretty good. I'm glad we fixed this. Did I give Carson a point? I'm going to assume I did for this, but I don't know for sure. Let me go look at that screenshot. The ID. No, like what about the ID? Like imagine if I said something like, I have a problem with the United States or something. And then someone's like, oh, what is it? And I'm like, it's the country. Like, well, what's your problem? I don't know if I gave Carson a point for this. And the only way I could probably find out is going to take me a tiny amount of time. Give me a sec. One up Carson. No, I don't think I did. I'll just give them a point. Yeah, and if it's one extra, then they just get one extra point. This is their name on here too, right? Yeah, it is. Hey, Rez. Whew, what a bug. Okay. So fix bug with dragging items. If you left-clicked an item without releasing left-click, if you dragged an item using the mouse without releasing left-click, then player held item would consume the input mouse. What's it called? Input event mouse motion event. So the garbage slime wouldn't be able to update the opacity of its contextual tip. I changed it so that the camera is now temporarily prevented from processing mouse input. Actually, that would have been another way we could do this, right? Is just just change the mouse filter for the camera. I didn't even think about that. That might have actually been smarter. Town camera, where's the camera? Camera. There you are. You can't do this? Huh. Yeah, I guess you can't do this. Because, wait, does that make sense? What? Script is on, script has camera. What does this inherit from? Camera 2D? Yeah. How does it get input then? Where does this come from? It's overridden from somewhere, but where? Node. Node doesn't have a mouse filter? This seems wrong. Only control nodes have it? Oh, huh. Only control nodes have it. Yeah, okay. Well, sure. Mouse filter. Can I figure out where this comes from? It's just, yeah, online docs. Yeah, control. Okay. I thought it was node. Yeah. Unlike web dev where I can use any IDE, I'm forced to use Studio for the development. After the build is finished, I don't know where my files go. So, wait, are these your two complaints? You're forced to use it and you don't know where your files go? Because, okay, because I was going to say, I don't ever really mind if I'm forced to use something if that tool is good. So this on its own doesn't seem like a huge problem. And if this is your only real complaint, this just sounds like something you could just figure out and then you'd have no complaints, right? So I think you should just figure out where your files go. I don't know what files you're even talking about, but like they're probably not trying to hide them from you. Either it's an input file or it's an output file that you have. Since it's an IDE, your input files, you presumably know where they are. So I'm guessing it's an output file. And yeah, there's presumably some way to change your build path. Talking about Gradle? Gradle is not Android Studio. Gradle's a totally separate product. And hey, ABC. Gradle's a build tool that's made by, well, I don't know what it's made by anymore. Yeah, I don't know who owns this. I don't think Google owns this, though. But yeah, Maven is pretty big and complex. And I can understand having some issues with that. But even then, I don't think you're required to use Gradle to make an Android app. So, like, regardless, whether it's Android Studio or Gradle, if your main concern is you don't know where your build files go, you should be able to solve that. So I would say look into that, try to find them. The other thing too is you could just make a project called some like, you know, random string that doesn't exist anywhere on your hard drive and then just search for this and probably that'll work. Yeah. And by the way, this is why I think it's worth at least figuring out like, why are you frustrated by something? Because if I was like, oh, VS Code sucks. If I have this impression, it's probably gonna be pretty hard to change my mind if I didn't come to it through any like, okay, well, here are the 3 things I tried to do and couldn't do. Or here's what I want to have as a feature and it doesn't exist. It's totally reasonable to come to the conclusion you don't want to use a product, but I think it should be based on something that could potentially be addressed. And maybe it'll never get addressed. Maybe your problem was like, well, Google owns it and I don't like Google. Okay, fine. Well, then that's a valid reason for not using a product and it'll probably never change. So yeah. But in this case, it's just a technical thing. All right, so I can't do this just by changing the mouse filter. I could probably do something else here, but I guess I don't really care. Oh, and then there's one last thing I wanted to test, which is can I still use WASD to move the camera while dragging from, I wonder if this is even possible beforehand. It probably was. So I do this. Yeah, WASD works. Although it does move the item in weird ways. You can see it kind of like wiggling a little bit. I don't really care about that. Yeah. And I know I've already reviewed this a bunch of times, but I want to just look over this one more time. Yeah. Oh, I never finished writing the commit. That way the garbage sign can still get the mouse event. Done. Done, 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 done. Ooh. What a problem. Neat. Okay, it's 12:14. I have not taken a single break. My legs are starting to hurt from standing for so long. So I'm going to go take a lunch break. I should be back in about an hour. And I think we're going to do more of what I've been doing here. Do I have another one of these on the list somewhere? I do. Yeah, but I'm looking over these a little bit more closely now. So yeah, I think we'll do some more bug tackling in the afternoon. And yeah, that'll be that. Hey, Andreas, passed my second interview. How many more interviews are there going to be? I don't know, but congratulations. Last problem is Jetpack Compose. Why can't the devs make it simple? And also, Adam, you're getting old. Legs aren't supposed to be hurting. I've been standing for almost 4 hours now without really moving. Hey, Pressel. Why can't the devs make it simple? I mean, this is kind of like what Andrew was just saying. I think if something doesn't seem simple, it's either you need to learn it better or that, well, I mean, it could be made simpler potentially, but also that maybe there's a level of complexity it's masking that is much greater than what you're consuming with that. So yeah, I think learning is probably a good first step here. They called you old. What? Let me fight that. I think they're just kidding because I said I have pain in my legs from standing for so long. But yeah, I'm standing on carpet, but I do wonder if I had one of those anti-fatigue mats, would I be fine? Does it make that much of a difference? Actually, I am curious. I am going to go get lunch, so I'm not going to see anyone's response to this. But if anyone stands for like 8 hours a day at their home computer, do you have one of those anti-fatigue mats? But like I said, I'm going. So I will see you after lunch. Goodbye, everybody.